My name is Aidan Kearney,
known online as
Turtleboy, and is a senior editor for
TBDailyNews.com.
They call me
Dr. Turtleboy.
It's my preferred pronoun. Daddy.
What's up, Daddy?
Journalism Jesus. A. Timothy Kearney.
The one and only Turtleboy.
Turtleboy. What's up, Slick? The doctor is here.
This guy's a bad motherfucker.
That's quite the intro.
I've broken a lot of major stories. I've been doing it for about 11 years. I used to be a high school teacher.
Turtleboy has changed a lot over the years. I was once a blogger, but now I'm much more accurately known as an award-winning journalist, a satirist, and an activist. Boom!
They're screaming your name here.
You're the crowd daddy.
Crazy. People either love me or hate me.
Listen, Turtle, all right?
But either way, they're watching.
Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
Stop it. I'm never gonna stop. This fight's just getting started. Now let's get this party started. Yo, new intro. Who dis? What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing tonight? Good? Good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your fearless host. My name's Aidan Kearney. You can call me a variety of names if you'd like. Turtleboy, Uncle Turtleboy. I prefer Dr. Turtleboy because if Judd Welch is a doctor, and so am I. You can call me Journalism Jesus, although that really upsets poor old Joel Waldman over there. Real stick in the mud, fun guy he is. Don't call me around. Don't call me that around him because he'll lose his ever mind and call me a Jew hater or something. I don't know. You can call me. What else can you call me? A. Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name. Or Daddy is still in play. I will allow it. Crowd Daddy too. I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night. And I swear to fucking God, if it starts with this shit, dude, don't start with me. That little thing in the corner. Stop it. I want to get two. Nope, that doesn't fix it. Oh, nope. How about that? That's a happy medium. There we go. All right. Anyway, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. Yeah, the Loophole Lawyer. Dude, it was funny. We got to play his video. That guy's a riot. Remind me, we got a lot of shit to talk about. But just make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. What are we up for followers? Let's see. What do we got subscribers? 163,189. How many we got right now? We just started. We're already up to 3,000. So I know probably at least 300 of you haven't hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and do that for me right now. Don't cost you nothing. So go ahead and do that. And yeah, we had our Turtleboy Ratchet Madness reveal on Sunday. The voting got started today, and man, it's close, man. You go get in there and vote if you guys haven't done so already. We've had, let's see how many people have voted. We've had over 4,000 people vote. There were some surprises earlier on. A couple of them have evened out. There's two upsets. What I mean by upsets is the lower seed, higher seed, lower seed. The bigger number should not win. The bigger number should lose, right? But the bigger number is winning in 4 of these matchups. So we got this is Ratchet Madness. Anything can happen. So, I think we can all know that probably Jennifer Cave's probably going to advance, probably. But it's a close one. So get in there. Tomorrow we'll have more voting for Ratchet Madness. Who do you guys think is going to win? Who do we think? I'll show you. Let me delete the winners. Again, these are our, if you haven't voted, get in there. It's on the latest article we published on tvdailynews.com. So, let's share this screen real quick. Yeah. Okay. So we got Jen McCabe, Ken Berkowitz. I think we know who's going to win that one. Jim Ferris versus Lizzie Proctor. That one is not close at all. That one is a huge blowout. I'm not going to say who's winning, but it's not very close. Jill Daniels versus John Fanning's an interesting one. I thought Jill Daniels was going all the way last year, but she only made the Sweet 16. Joe Paul versus Jessica Hyde. Battle of the experts. We'll see. Colin Albert against Kazi. That one's a lot closer than I thought it would be. A lot closer. Twisted Tragedies versus Adam Lally. Okay. If Twisted Tragedies doesn't win, I am going to lose it on you people. I'm going to fucking lose it. But Plevin versus Wendy. Okay. And we'll see. Either way, they both suck. And Michael Morrissey against Nicole Albert, Irish Poverty Face. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, guys, that's Ratchet Madness. So go and vote if you haven't voted already. But what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So tomorrow I have court. It's right now scheduled for 2:00, but we're trying to get it moved to 3. But it might be 2. We'll see if they'll allow it. My attorney's got a case and he's representing that cop in North Andover who got shot and arrested. And she has a hearing tomorrow in Salem. So he's got to drive from Salem to Dedham. And they said it would take over an hour to get there. That's crazy talk, right? That's wild. There's a lot of traffic at that time. I don't know. Her hearing's at 12. So we might have the hearing at 3. Yeah, the voting, as Laura said, is at tbdailynews.com. All right. So what else do we got to vent about? So the Wilbur tickets are going on sale this week, and people are losing their mind over this. First of all, really looking forward to it. So the Wilbur is a very, it's like a well-renowned venue, right? The Wilbur does a lot of, if you go on the Wilbur's website, Wilbur Theater, right? It's very nice there. They have it's like classic Boston, right in downtown. Look, it's nice there. It's gonna be dope when we fill this thing up. Right. But, and then we're going to have, if you go on their website though, it's like, where do we go? How do we buy it? Where's the tickets? Oh yeah. You just go right on there. So like, I don't know who Ashley Gavin is, but you go on here because I'm like, what do other people charge for this, for their tickets? Ashley Gavin. Okay. You go on here and if you want to see how much she charges, like when I went, hold on. I could find it the other day. Hold on. Anyway, I looked on there the other day. I couldn't find a show where tickets were less than $70 for anything. So, but yeah, I think they set the prices for them. The Wilbur does because they got to get their thing too. It's definitely not. I went on there today. It was $73. That was the cheapest you could get for her, and I don't even know who she is. And then other people. So she's a lesbian. It's there $29 to $39. What? Where'd you see that? That's crazy. Anyway. I hope to sell it out. We'll see what's happening. Because I didn't know what to price it at, and it's not really my job to price it. I just want to sell it out. That's my number one thing. But anyway, It's on the first page, maybe not included fees. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. So it starts at 79. There you go. But so, might be a little expensive for some people. I get it, but it'll be worth it, man. It'll be worth it. Plus, I need it. I got a lot of legal defense funds to deal with, and I earned it. I earned that shit. So it's gonna be dope. You want to be there for the first show. We just want to see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to it. Jimmy's looking really forward to it. Uncle Deb, Auntie Deb, rather. You would expect. Okay, so I wasn't. So maybe I don't know my own worth. Maybe I don't know my own worth. There you go. So I think it was like 79, 99, and then the 250 ones are. You get the whole enchilada afterwards. You get to come backstage and we get naked and freaky. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that. But I will, meet and greet. We can hang out, take pictures. And we'll have a lot of signed merch there and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway, but it is what it is. We just want to sell it out and have a good time. But is it adult only? Generally, it's not required to be adults. I guess you could bring your kids. I don't know why you'd want to. Maybe like teenagers. It's like a rated R movie, It's like a rated R movie, but it's going to be fun. We're going to try to do the pay-per-view thing. I got to figure out a way to do that. No, I will not be signing nipples. I will not be doing that. That's going to cost you, we'll see. But anyway, guys, so that's the Wilbur Theater announcement. And man, they are really trying to cancel this on me. And by the way, if you want your messages read out loud to the class, click at the link at the top, please, for Turtle Chat. And you could pay whatever amount of money you want, write whatever you want. I'll read it out loud to the class. You just can't do one of those long-winded centigraphs. Can't have that. Okay. All right. Anyway, what was I looking for here? Oh, it's because this guy Joel is lost. Dude, they have lost their minds. They've lost their ever-loving minds, these people. They are so mad. Like, I just can't imagine what it's like to wake up every day and be so consumed by a stranger. Like, they are dedicated, man. They really want to stop me. And you can see, so Joel over here I did a whole stream on this loser. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. But he responded to the Kof and Doofus chimed in. Yikes. Bow to your cult leader. Oh God, Betero responded to him. You talk about his insane response to Betero, which was wild. So the Wilbur announces that I'm doing this show. Okay. And just announced regular pre-sale 8/13, which is tomorrow. Woo! At 10 a.m. So that's not for everybody. Like, that's like, I think if I want to get people in there to get them early, I think I give them, I don't know. I got to talk to them, figure that out. But for the general public, 8:15, 10 a.m., they will be available. And boy, did this get people going. Like, look at this one. Like, let's just laugh at these people as they scream into the void here. He says Missy Lurch, who is like some woman from down south or something, who is just like obsessed with Karen Reed and true crime, and is really mad that she's one of the dumbest people on the internet, and she thought that Karen Reed was going to be convicted. She was sure of it. Didn't happen. And now they're on to trying to stop Turtleboy. And then she goes, so you realize that Turtleboy has a hearing tomorrow in regard to his over a dozen felony charges for witness intimidation. You okay with this? Promoting this guy? So this is what's called cancel culture, folks. It's when they try to stop you. They try to prevent free speech from happening by just shaming the platform that you're going on until they like, oh my God, we can't have anything to do with him. Newsflash, they don't live under a rock. They're very familiar with the fact that I'm charged with over a whole bunch of felonies. But here's the thing that you don't understand, Missy. Around Boston, no one gives a shit. Like, absolutely no one cares. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. When I go out in public, I'm treated like a hero, kind of. Like I'm the person that that started a gigantic movement that freed Karen Reed. I can't help that. It's just, it is what it is, right? Because I did. And so like I'm like seen as the good guy. I know to you, I'm the bad guy because you're like kind of stupid, but to the rest of the world, I'm a good guy. And they look at these charges and everyone just kind of laughs at them like, oh geez. I mean, look at, bro, if they were taking these charges seriously, they wouldn't have Robert Cosgrove and Ken Mello prosecuting me. I think you know that. I don't think they're that serious about this. Okay. And yeah, so she tries to do it. And I'm like, let me know if your plan works. What plan? Oh yeah. You totally don't have a plan. Right. I go, what is your goal or reason for contacting the Wilbur? You mean replying under a post? Yes. That's also known as contacting, dear. Because I'm an advocate for victims. You plan on going to this venue and talk about innocent witnesses that have never been charged with a crime and calling them murderers in front of an audience. Yes, I there's a pretty good chance I'm going to mention that. Yes, that's right. And I'm going to do that. And it's okay because everyone else thinks they did it. Everyone around here thinks they did it. We all know they did it. What else are people saying? People are like, is this what irrelevant looks like? The trolls are coping well to this. Yeah, sure. Like they're losing their mind. Let's see what this is. The Wilbur. This is the piece of garbage you are allowing to perform inside and profit from your theater. Oh, it's crazy, Kim Fair. Someone telling another person to unalive themselves and threatening to go after innocent people and their families. Shame on you for allowing Aidan Kearney to perform on the stage at your iconic theater. It is iconic. And I'm iconic for being there. And so, yeah, they're so mad about it. And they're like, so what are they doing? They're throwing that out there. Who would want to fuck a cat? They will scratch you and nobody wants to fuck a cat. People will fuck a dog because we doggy style. It's the most popular, it's the most American thing you could do, right? Doggy style. It's like, who doesn't like doggy style? Like, it's like these people are this desperate where they pick up a fucking stream I did on my couch like 5 years ago watching a Celtics game. And I'm like making jokes about fucking dogs and cats. I'm like, yeah, I would, I'm like, people would probably fuck a dog over a cat because we like to fuck doggy style. Right. So that's because I think they were I did some story on bestiality that week or some guy fucked a horse. And I was like, that surprises me because like, if I were to picture any animal that he would fuck, I would think he would fuck a dog because that's the most natural style is doggy style. Right. Because that would make the most sense. So this is what's called satire, right? You make a joke, right? I wouldn't actually fuck a dog. I like humans, not into dogs. But the guy I was talking about that week was into fucking animals. So I was like, there was a guy who fucked a horse. And I'm like, bro, that's a lot of work. A horse can kick you. And like, you got to stand on a stool to fuck a horse, I would assume. Right? Ain't no one going to fuck a horse. So I'm like making a joke there about like, it's called humor. It's called humor. So they're obviously because these are humorless assholes. They don't understand humor. And they're like, oh my God, he wants to fuck animals. You're insane to have this jerk on your show. I know, they're so insane. What are they going to, it's like the funniest part about this is these people have committed themselves to being like, Turtleboy is going nowhere. Turtleboy is irrelevant. The guy did use a stool. It was on video. Exactly. Turtleboy's going nowhere. Turtleboy's irrelevant, blah, 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 blah. And here I am with the show at the Wilbur. So this completely conflicts with their whole worldview that I'm a nobody or whatever. Because if I'm a nobody, then why are we doing a show at the Wilbur? How does that work? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Didn't I do a whole rap about fucking a horse? I think I did a whole rap on that. Yeah. This is the monster you're allowing in your theater. Oh my God. Here he claims, among other despicable statements, what are they saying? That Sandra Birchmore blackmailed her killer. She did. Officer Matthew Farwell into getting her pregnant. She did. And that doesn't mean he should have done it, but she was. It's like, okay. What we're raising below is Aidan Kearney being a rape and killer apologist. I don't remember ever making excuses for Matthew Farwell. I actually think he's evil. But you know, I mean, I wrote a story about Kim Fair in 2021, and she still every day of her life wakes up and does this. Imagine that. That's how much space I take up in these people's heads. This is a new one who's obsessed with me. Jamie Jams, whatever her name is. What's she playing?
Okay, Mac, he was rehomed, but he's still involved in my case and tried to have me locked up again last month. You can go get fucked. Him and his stupid wife and his stupid family. I hope they all fucking die in a fire.
Oh, no.
If I found out tomorrow that Brian Tully was burned alive in the most painful way possible, I would be so happy. Like, that would be awesome. That'd be great. I hope he dies. Like, I hope pain and misery happens to him after what he's done.
They tried putting me in jail for that. They tried to revoke my bail over that. Not saying I'm going to kill him, just being like, I would be so happy if Brian Tully died. You can't, this is madness. Do you think the Wilbur cares that like I made a comment like that about a corrupt cop who covered up the murder of an innocent man? Do you think they care? You have got to be kidding me. A criminal. Cope, motherfucker. Cope. Yes, they're very serious. And guess what? We're just getting started. If this show goes well at the Wilbur, we're going to keep doing shows at the Wilbur. We're going to do shows all over the place. We'll go to the Hanover Theater. We'll go to freaking the Wang Theater. We got all types of things in the works, right? Ernie Bach called me, right? Wanted me to do a show at the Wang Theater with Karen Reed. When she comes out of the closet, then there's no stopping us. Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, we're going to get used to it. And then when the documentary comes out and the movie comes out, what are they going to do? They're just going to sit there on their phones. Oh my God, how can you platform him? He's bad. Okay, I get it. You feel that way. But at what point do you give up? At what point do you say, we can't stop this guy? At what point do you say, it's not working? It's not working. Bill or William, the owner of the Wilbur, it appears he's Jewish. I think everyone should give him the opportunity to learn what. Okay, right. So that's the fake victim. That's Lindsay Gattani, who won't go away. Oh, look at, they're so mad. Oh my God. Oh, they're so mad. Look at them. I didn't know that Wilbur was in such financial dire straits. Well, so you're suggesting that they're not doing well financially, and so this is going to help them financially. So Turtleboy's good for business, you're saying. That's what you're saying, pal. Cope. Yeah, like they just can't understand that, like with 20 indictments over his head, yeah, nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares about those indictments except you. You guys on the internet, there's like 20 of you. You guys are the only people that cares. Out here in reality, in the real world, nobody cares. Everybody fucking loves me. They see the crowd outside. That was for me. They started cheering for me when I came out there. I didn't know that was going to happen. Everybody knows the charges are bullshit. Anyway, this is disgraceful. Cry. Oh, dude, if I were them, I would not give Aidan Kearney this much satisfaction. I would be like, fuck. The last thing we want to do right now is go online and cry about this, because we're going to look shitty. Like we're going to look like we lost, you know, we're going to look like this is getting to us. But then they just keep giving me what I want. They just keep giving it to me, and I'll take it, you know? So there's that. So anyway, so Joel writes about this. Joel loses his mind over this. I mean, this guy says, hey, Wilbur. So he's like trying to do cancel culture. You know, you're hosting a bully who picks on Holocaust survivors and calls their survival fake. So first of all, let me say that I just want to say this to Joel, because he's watching this right now. So Joel, what you're doing right now with your whole thing about like he's a Holocaust denier and blah, 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 that's completely untrue, provably untrue. And you've seen the evidence that you know it's untrue, right? We've been over this. I criticized you for using your mother's story to sell books. And I pointed out that there are degrees of what a survivor is, right? That I had always pictured survivors of the Holocaust to be people who went into a death camp and survived it, like Elie Wiesel. Like I read that book in 7th or 8th grade, right? I read that about it. And I'm like, that guy survived the Holocaust. That's what I thought a Holocaust survivor was, right? He has a different definition than me. That's fine. There are different degrees of the word survivor. Okay. She did indeed survive the Holocaust because she wasn't killed. In the same vein, I survived multiple wars and COVID and all sorts of shit. I survived a car accident. I survived, like, I don't know. Am I a survivor? I don't know. Like that was my whole point. And we should be allowed to have these discussions. Like we should be allowed as human beings to discuss this. And by the way, you know who else agreed with me? Joel's mom. This one had to sting for him. This one had to sting for. I got to go to Joel's mom's response. Listen, I don't know if you can hear this, but
and they were much more, a lot of survivors, and they were much more tragic, serious survivors, in my opinion, than I was.
So she's talking about Holocaust survivors, and she goes, they were much more serious Holocaust survivors than I was. This is his mother saying this. She's saying that other people that lived through concentration camps are much more, what was her words? Much more serious survivors.
Than I was. I mean, I am not implying that my experience was a picnic or something like that, but they had a much more atrocities piled on them. And they were doing the work of letting, the world know what happened. But now they're not here anymore. So
can you guys hear that? Could you guys hear that? I know people are like, it's quiet. If you can hear it at all, then you can hear it. So calm down. Just turn it up. But, she said that's her Carm's own words. Proves my point. Like, that's exactly what I was saying, that there are degrees of surviving the Holocaust. That's literally all I was saying. I'm not saying that that the story in the book is untrue. I'm certain I have no reason to believe it's not true. If I were a betting man, I would say it's almost definitely true. Why would he lie about that? Right? Of course it's true. Of course she got, if he says that as a little girl, she got sent away to live with nuns and pass as a Gentile. Why wouldn't I believe that? Of course it's true. Right? My point was that I always pictured in my head, when I hear the word Holocaust survivor, the first thing I think of is I went to a death camp and I made it out to tell the world about it. That's what I thought. Okay. That's it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But what got Joel really mad is the fact I hurt him to his core, not because I said anything about his mother, but because I said something about him. Because I pointed out that he was constantly using his mother's story to profit. And that is disgusting. And the more I think about it, the more upset it is when you think about it. Like, this guy, he could have easily just responded to that and said, I'd like to educate Turtleboy on this. He's completely misinformed, right? Actually, a survivor, according to the Holocaust website, is somebody who fled their home during the war. That counts. He could have said that. He could have done anything but he's not going to sell any books doing that. And he's not going to get clicks doing that. And he can't be a victim doing that. Joel wants to be a victim very badly, because his mother was a victim. His mother's father was killed in the Holocaust. That makes her a victim. Okay. She grew up without a father. Joel did not. Joel grew up comfortably in the United States of America. His life was easy. And so he just wanted very badly to have a story. He's jealous of his mother, kind of. He's jealous of that his mother gets to be a Holocaust survivor, and he's just some white guy from America. Like at the end of the day, he's just an uninteresting, bland, vanilla white guy from America, period. And his mother's interesting. So he's jealous of his mother, very, very jealous of his mother. And he sees that, you know, his mother's story gets a lot of attention. He's like, but I want to be a victim too. Turtleboy is saying mean things about me. And it's cutting to the core because he knows it's true. He knows he's using her story to profit. What percentage of his book sales go to his mother? That's what I'd like to know. I think the world has a right to know that, Joel. What percentage of your book sales, there can't be that many book sales, but what percentage of the few books that you sold, the profits of that go to your mother? Can you answer me that, Joel? Can you just tell me that? Because if it's anything less than 50%, it should be much higher than 50% in my opinion, because it's her story, not your story. You don't have a story to tell. Your story to tell is you were a white guy in America who didn't graduate from law school, didn't become a police officer, and yet somehow started a YouTube channel about true crime. You are a grifter, sir. That's all you are, and that's all you ever will be. And in order to distract from the fact that I pointed out what was clearly undeniably true, you went and made yourself a victim. And not just any sort of victim. You made you a victim of anti-Semitism, which is very convenient because obviously right now you have to be blind not to see it when you go online. There's a lot of anti-Semitism out there, much more than there was 5 years ago. It's much more socially acceptable to say shit about Jews now. Like 5 years ago, it was just Nick Fuentes and a couple others saying that. It's much more mainstream now. It's much more mainstream now. You see it with a lot of people who are Marjorie Taylor Greene saying shit like that. You know, I mean, I could go on. There's a lot of people out there that are saying shit that they would not have been comfortable with about the Jews 5 years ago. So Joel realizes this, and he realizes that the conflict between Israel and Gaza, I'm not getting into that again, but he realizes that the conflict between that has caused a lot of animosity towards the Jewish community, right? And because a lot of people just associate Israel with Judaism. So like there's a lot of people that are like, well, it's the Jews are doing this. You know, there's a lot of anti-Semitism when it comes to that. I get it. That's not cool. I'm not down with that, right? And Joel is trying to lump me in with that. He's trying to, because he wants to be the victim of anti-Semitism very badly. Joel wants somebody to make fun of him for being Jewish so he can be a victim. That's it, right? And I didn't do that. I called him out for just being a general grifter and using his mom's story to enrich himself, period. And that's a fact. That's exact. And everyone with a brain agrees with me. The court of public opinion is overly in my favor, brother, not in your favor. It's not going the way that you thought it would at all. And what you really lost people was when you went after my attorney and Karen's attorneys, and you gave them like a litmus test, and you demanded that they denounce me. And that did not happen. It did not happen the way it backfired, brother. It is time to abandon ship. So I do want to give Joel this kind of warning. Just he needs to chill. Okay. Because this Wilbur show for me, I can, if this were to get canceled, which I don't think it's going to be, I don't think the Wilbur's going to give in to these people. That would cost me a lot of money, right? I have a chance to make a lot of money on this show, as I should. And if it's canceled because you are telling them that I'm anti-Semitic and I'm a Holocaust denier, you better lawyer up, my friend. I am going to sue your fucking face off. If I experience any sort of financial damages from your lies about me, and that's what they were. They were outright lies. I am going to sue your face off. And I'm not fucking around. You're not going to fuck with my ability to make a living with your lies. It is tortuous or tortuous, whatever you want to call it, however it's pronounced, interference. You are doing this for the purposes of financially harming me. Because look what he says here. let's see all the factual inaccuracies just in this tweet. Hey, Wilbur, you know you're hosting a bully? Okay, well, that's you're allowed to say that. Who picks on Holocaust survivors? See, that's when you draw the line. Who picks on Holocaust survivors? Untrue. Untrue. Now, your lawyers might argue that, like, that's opinion, and they might win that argument. I don't know. But I have not picked on any Holocaust survivors. But what you can't do, you can argue opinion. You can argue opinion on a lot of things. It's a way around defamation. But when you present something as a fact, that's very different. And so he says here, in other words, an anti-Semite who is a Holocaust minimizer. So there you go right there. So that is no longer an opinion. An anti-Semite, because you have to prove what's the definition of anti-Semite? Somebody who doesn't like Jews, is that right? Anti-Semite definition. Anti-Semite is a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish individuals and their property. So yeah, that's not me, brother. I have done nothing that has expressed any sort of hatred of Jews. Like, nothing about what I said about the definition of what a survivor is even remotely comes close to fitting the definition of anti-Semite. It just doesn't. Okay? So that's slander, my dude. That's a libel when you write it down, slander when you say it. So we got you on both. Holocaust minimizer? I don't know if that has a definition. Holocaust, because he didn't say denier, he said minimizer, is an act of making comparisons that diminish the scale and severities of the atrocities committed by Nazi Germany. I've never done that. I've never once said less people died in the Holocaust than they say died, or the Holocaust wasn't so bad, or I didn't say anything like that. I just said you are grifting off your mother. Okay? So that is slanderous right there. So you need to stop that, because you're telling the Wilbur this. Why are you telling the Wilbur this? Well, you should probably watch this before hosting him. So he's trying to get him banned. And then my real take on a blogger calling my 86-year-old mom a fake Holocaust survivor, and he links his own thing. Okay? And then buy the book, he says. I mean, this guy has no shame. He is trying to get the Wilbur Theater to buy his book. He's using this opportunity. He's so offended about my fake anti-Semitism that he's using this opportunity to get people to buy a book. The Wilbur Theater. Buy my book, Wilbur Theater. Okay? So this is anti-Semitism. Not. This is not anti-Semitism. What this is grifting. That's all you're doing is grifting. Okay? So you need to stop, Joe. I'm telling you right now, cut the shit. You do it one more time, you're going to get a cease and desist letter from my attorney, because you're trying to fuck with my livelihood. You've seen the ticket prices at this thing. $80 minimum, $79 minimum, whatever. Right? You could do the math there. Right? If you are doing this because you're trying to get me canceled. You want them to cancel the show. There is no other reason to contact the Wilbur Theater. None. Anyway, that is Joel. So he sucks. Joel sucks. Joel bad. And then he asked Betterow if he was standing by the client. Betterow owned him. And then he writes this. He goes, I would love to discuss this offline, Mark. Let's please find a time to talk. And I greatly appreciate your thoughtful response. You're a shrewd legal mind and a great guy. Stop there. That's it. You just got to stop there. You're good. Leave it at that. But no, he tells him he's going to take it offline and then goes on and on. I don't need to tell you, but we're living during a time of extreme Jew hate. Jew hate. and anti-Semitism. Yeah, well, that's not me. Attacks against Jews are becoming more commonplace and more brazen. Not me. Often, however, it's the more nuanced attacks, like being called a fake Holocaust survivor, that are actually most egregious and dangerous. How dare you question Joel's use of terminology? I respect that you're willing to represent such a despicable and reprehensible person. A man who calls a murder victim's mother a cunt. I'm far from the only person who calls Peggy O'Keefe that word. Lots of people do, because that's what she is. Even a lowlife like that deserves your legal guidance. Hopefully, you're also offering the lowly and lonely blogger whatever psychological or life wisdom you can impart to, since he will likely end up in prison again soon. So let me get this straight. Mark Betterow is a shrewd and brilliant attorney, and you're telling him that he's so bad at his job that his client's going to end up in jail. Okay, that makes sense. So here's another defamatory thing. He cried last time he was in jail. And I honestly don't wish that on anyone, not even him. That's blatantly made up. I actually never cried in jail. I came close. I wanted to cry. I've cried outside of jail, but I've never cried. I never once cried in jail. It's not like something I'm proud of or anything like that. I don't see anything wrong with crying when you're sad, right? But I didn't cry in jail. I would tell you if I did. I was very depressed. I was very depressed my first few nights there, right? I was very upset about being in there. It was very wrong to have me in there. But I didn't cry. So that's defamatory. Then he goes, when he attacks my mother, a woman with more integrity, intelligence, humor, and spirit for life than anyone I know, that's where I must step in. Okay. I respect having your mom's back, but I don't even think his mother seems to agree with me. It's my role. And Carm, if you're watching this, come on my show. I'd love to have you on my show. I'd love to have a conversation. I don't want to talk to your son. He's emotional and irrational and a overgrown child, but I would love to have a conversation with you because you seem like a cool person. I like you, Carm, right? You have a cool story to tell. I respect your whole Eastern European identity and the fact that you are, you immigrated from this country and you started a life for your family here. I think it's awesome. I think it's like the whole American experience dream. I think you're really cool, Carm. I'd love to have you on my show to have a sit-down interview with you, right? Joel can't come because he's, you know what it's like, Carm. You know what it's like with Joel. You lived with him for a long time, right? He obviously never, he was probably, actually, that's one thing we could talk about, Carm. We could talk about Joel's experiences growing up. Like, what was Joel, like, be honest. He was in diapers till he was 4, wasn't he? You could tell me. You could tell me, Carm. Come on. He breastfeed. He was breastfeeding until he was 3.5, wasn't he? You could tell me. I'm not gonna. No judgment. No judgment. I bet you he did. I bet you he did. And I bet you her and I can have a sit down and we can joke about this and have a great time at Joel's expense. Come on. So have her on. Like, we'll have so much fun. I think Carm and I will get along just great. So yeah, Joel, like, I'm not asking you, Joel, just your mom. You can't come, Joel, but your mom can come on. Okay. I'd have you on, but there's no point to that. You're not man enough to debate me. I think we both know that you're not interested in discussion. You're interested in making your little video there and using it as a way to promote your book. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll have heard of the Wilbur. I like that. That would be cool. She could be my co-host. Me, her, me, Carm, and Auntie Deb. I think we can have a good time. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, you sell more books, Joel. I'll promote your book. If I can get Carm on this show, I will promote your book. Anyway, but My grandfather was an eternal optimist, never thought the Nazis would come for him, but I think you know the end of that story. Okay. Then he goes, you don't have to go any further than here on X discussing this to see the amount of Jew hate and vile anti-Semitism. And trust me, those same supporters of the blogger will come after you next. I'm pretty sure that my followers are not going after Betero because Betero is probably the only one that's more popular than me. Like I can't, when Bettero's on the Young Jerks or something, I lose to the Young Jerks in the ratings. I do. Whatever he's on, there are people who would just, I've had so many conversations with people that like, yeah, on YouTube, I kind of just watch whatever Bettero's on. Whatever Bettero's on, I watch that. So yeah, like I'm gonna lose that one. I'm gonna lose that one. So I don't think people are. I couldn't get my followers to turn on Bettero if I wanted to. I can't. He's way too popular. He's way too popular. Like there would be a list of people that I couldn't get anyone to turn on, and he would be probably number one on that list. I don't know who number two would be. You know, I don't know. Like I couldn't get people mad at. I don't know. Who could I? That's a good question. Who could I not get people upset about? Huh. Karen Reed would be up there. It would be very hard to get anyone to turn. Like Karen Reed, people love Karen Reed, so she would be a hard one. Lassie, for sure. Anyone on Karen's defense team, for that matter, I could not get anyone to be upset with them. Like people fucking love them. So I would lose. I would definitely lose that one. And then all the YouTube content creators, like good luck getting people to be mad at Nurse Kim or Melanie Little. I don't think I could ever make anyone mad at Melanie Little, or Lucky Lochran. I couldn't do that for sure. The Glarer. I mean, I can't get people to be mad. Like there's nothing I could do, So Microdots, like, yeah, because people would be like, I love Microdots. Like if I had like beef with Microdots, the people would be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still watching Microdots because he's fucking awesome. Not that I ever would or anything like that, or if I was like, if I had beef with, I don't know, you pick it like Will, if I had beef with Will the Glare, right. And which I don't, and I never would, but if I did, and we had beef, right. And I was like, don't watch Will. He sucks. He's bad. People are like, fuck you. I'm watching anyway. That's what they would say. Like if I said the same thing about Nurse Kim, I was like, you can't watch Nurse Kim. I don't like Nurse Kim anymore. She sucks. She's rude, whatever. People would be like, well, fuck yourself, Turtleboy. I'm watching Nurse Kim, period. That's what they would say, period. So like McDonough, even McDonough was tough. Like when I criticized McDonough, like there was a lot of people like, fuck you, Turtleboy. And he was obviously a liar, So anyway, that's that. So he goes on to say, we're almost done with all. I will scroll up and down. It's there for all to see. My grandfather was an eternal optimist and never ever thought the Nazis would come for him. But I think you know the end of that story. So now he's using his grandfather's story too. Okay. Our grandparents and their children didn't die in the Holocaust for us to turn their backs now. Like this guy's like, I am standing up for I'm turning my back on the dead people in the Holocaust. What? I agree wholeheartedly. Even horrible, misogynistic, low-life, attention-seeking flashes in the pan narcissists deserve the best representation possible. Luckily, he has you. Okay. All right. Anyway, he just got destroyed. Like, talk about having no self-awareness, like whatsoever. That's Joel right now. What else I got going on my Twitter here? I had a bunch of shit today. Oh, Bukkake. So, by the way, Joel, they're so mad. The trolls are so mad about this. This one guy, I don't know who this is, says JoelWaldman.com sends you to Turtleboy's Give Send Go. Disgusting. They're so mad. They can't stop giving me wins. Like, bro, you guys got to stop. I mean, or don't. Because I love this shit. Like, I love when you guys get so mad about it because that's what makes it funnier. That's what makes it so much funnier is when you guys get upset about it. I love upsetting you guys. You're so easy to make mad, right? And then, yeah. Oh, then Bukkake was out. You guys see this? Look at this. I got something. So this guy is going around now, apparently doing karaoke in West Dennis. I mean, I'm sorry. Talk about a lack of self-awareness. Bro, everybody hates this guy. Like this guy he is the biggest villain of all time. Like if you're this guy, I mean, the ball's on him to get drunk. First of all, you're in your 40s, bro. What are you doing? You're getting drunk doing karaoke and shit. Like everybody, I don't know if you know this, Bukkake, but like millions of people watched that trial and saw you testify. And just read the comments, read the live chat on any of this shit, dude. Everybody thought you were a dink. Everybody was like, this guy sucks. This guy is like arrogant and a liar. And he says he's the Webster Dictionary. Oh God, am I getting the static again? Oh, am I going to get demonetized? I bet you Laura's going to tell me I can't play it because I'm going to get demonetized. I bet you. So Laura, whenever I see Laura check in the background, they usually tell me it's because I have static, but I bet you she's telling me now, don't play this video because you're going to get demonetized for the copyright. Let's see. Yes, I called it. She goes, yes, copyright. So we're not going to play it. We're not going to play it. No, there is no fair use. You can't, because they will, whatever. You guys thank you for doing that. Let's save the show. Or save the, whatever. You guys get the point. Actually, I'll just do it with the volume down. Can I do that? Let me do the volume off. First of all, just look at this dude. Look at him. Who does this? He's singing Armageddon. He's singing don't want to close my eyes. Look at him. Bro, what are you doing? How drunk are you? What is he doing? You're a grown ass man. Like everybody is watching it. Like you're so well known as an international douchebag. And you're like, you know what I want to do? Draw more attention to myself. I want to go on the stage and just draw attention to myself and be a drunken boob and do karaoke. And he's reading off a teleprompter after testifying in front of millions of people that he can't speak English. The English is his third language. He needs the Webster Dictionary. And he's dressed like a fucking tourist. Look at him. He's wearing thong sandals. Look at this guy. Look at him. Make sure. Oh, pound it, bro. Pound it. I mean, this is a guy who still like goes to Barstool events and is like, Senators are for the boys, bro. Can I get a picture, Dave Portnoy? Can I get a picture, bro? Yeah, bro. Party, dude. Like, dude, you're a Massachusetts State Police detective. You act like you're like Mr. I'm a really serious person. We do real serious work around here. We investigate murders and we take them seriously. We follow protocol. And I have my elbow up in the stand and my cuffs hanging out. And I'm a real serious detective. And you should know about this. And, bro, this is the real you, Bukkake. This is the real you. You and your stupid wife, Shelby, right? She sucks. Shelby's got to be embarrassed about this, Bukkake. She's got to be embarrassed. This isn't, even the people in the window are like, dude, look at Bukkake. He's out of control. What is he doing right now? They're like, oh, bro, this is embarrassing. Look at him. These guys have to know. So, like, what I want to know is whoever filmed. Oh my God, look at him. Look at him. These guys they're egging him on, right? They know who he is, right? They have to know who he is. Look at him. They're egging him on. Oh, here we go. It's the Armageddon song, right? Look at him. Look at him. They know, right? Like they know. This guy knows, doesn't he? Do we think they're in on it? Do these guys know that this is Bukkake? They know, right? I think they're just egging him on because it's funny. They're like, dude, we're getting Bukkake to go crazy. Like, I think they're like, let's get him going. You know, let's get him going. They're like loving it. They're like, dude, this is wild. This shit's going to end up on Turtleboy. Bukkake's going crazy. And it did. I wish I could play it, but I don't want to lose the monetization. Look at them. Look at they know. They have to know. Come on. They definitely know. Why else would they be doing that? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Dude, yes, I wish I could play the audio, but I can't. I'll lose all the money. Look at him. Look at he's so into it. He's so into it. Dude, I wish they could have played this on the cross-examination and questioned him about it. Like, sir, do you think this is a professional? Do you often behave like this? Have you had too much to drink, sir? Look at him. That guy's loving it. Look at him. Oh, how drunk is he? How drunk is he? They're definitely razzing him. They're definitely getting him going. They have to be. And it worked to perfection. They're like, let's get this guy going. Let's make him think he's awesome. And like, let's keep him singing and get him real into it and be like, cheer him on, egg him on. Yeah, do it. They're definitely Karen Reed bros. So anyway, that was awesome. But for real talk though, I call it Bukkake. You got to boo that. I just want to remind them that, like, bro, no matter where you go, Bukkake, like, everybody knows what you did. Everybody's going to be filming. This is the new reality. You did this to yourself. Forever, no matter how many years go by, they're going to be like, there's Bukkake, the human Tetris piece. There he goes. The guy, and they're not going to know anything else about you except the fact that you covered up a murder. That's it. And just imagine for a second if there was a video out there of Karen Reed being shit-faced and acting like that in public, what the antis would do. They would lose their mind. They'd probably have the same reaction they would as if Karen Reed Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. They're probably this very similar reaction. It would be, oh my God, every time she was out to dinner or every time her lawyers were seen at the liquor store or something like that, they lost their ever-loving minds, didn't they? Oh my God, she's a crazy drunk and she did this. Right. Sure thing. But yeah, check in this tar too. So like, oh dude. So I made a comment the other day on my show, or no, it was like yesterday. I'm like, bro, I was at the Boston Marathon bombing. I ran across the finish line. And it was there when the bomb went off, the second bomb. We saw it happen. We saw it like 100 yards away from me, not even 100 feet. I mean, it was like, I remember it was like right down a flight of steps, overlook the Prudential Center food court, overlooking Boylston Street. I saw the flash. I heard it. It was fucking loudest shit I've ever heard in my life. And then I saw a cloud of smoke everywhere. And I went down there and the cops were all running around saying, get away from the trash cans. Everybody thought there was bombs in the trash cans. Get away from there. And it's just fucking smoke everywhere, bodies everywhere. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. So I went back up into the food court. Every seat in the food court has been overturned. All the employees have abandoned their posts. It was fucking crazy. And then I'm with my brother who just ran 26.2 miles, right? And we start walking and we need a ride home. And I can't get a signal. You couldn't get a signal because it was, I don't know why I couldn't get a signal. There were a million people trying to make phone calls or something. And so I just walked around and we found some guy walking around who looked like a lost puppy. And he was just, we're like, are you okay? And he had a bib on, running bib, and he had just clearly run. And he's like, we're like, what's your name? And I forget his name, but you remember he's from Montana. And like, did you finish? Did you run the race? He's like, I didn't finish. I just, because they ended the race. They like, everybody had to get off the course. And I'm like, oh shit. So I gave him, so we were like, he was in shock. Like this guy was clearly in shock. Like, so imagine running 25 miles and then getting to the finish line and a bomb goes off and then you can't finish the race and you don't know what the fuck's going on. Like there was a lot of that. There was fucking pandemonium and confusion. I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. I was right fucking there when it happened. And you don't see me being like, I'm a survivor of that shit. I survived the Boston Marathon. I didn't do shit. I was getting a meal of food in a Prudential Center, and I happened to be a safe away distance enough where I saw a flash of light that killed. I mean, I was by the second bomb. That was Jafar's bomb. His bomb, like the one that killed Martin Richard, right? So like I was right fucking there. Of course, it was a cloud of smoke, couldn't see shit. So anyway, the guy from Montana, I had a medal, which I'll explain in a second. And I'm like, we're like, do you need it? Are you lost? And he's just like, and so we're like, I think this guy's in trouble. Like he wasn't making any sense. And so we're like, do you need something to drink or eat? And he's like, definitely, you could tell he was dehydrated. So we brought him into the 7-Eleven. We got him a water, right? I think we got him like some chips or something too. And we went on our way. We tried to like help him out, but the guy was disoriented. And I gave him my medal that I did not earn. So I had an extra medal. I just gave it to him. So, I mean, you're running that far. You might as well get a medal, right? The guy finished, for all intents and purposes, he finished the marathon. He came all the way here from Montana. The least I can do is give him the goddamn medal that I didn't earn, right? So I'm like, okay. So anyway, so that's my Boston Marathon story. And I wrote about it on my old website, Aidan from Worcester.com, because it happened in 2013, shortly the year before I left teaching to do Turtleboy. And anyway, I made this comment about how I'm a Boston Marathon survivor, right? Is like, mocking Joel or whatever. And the trolls, because they listen to every single word I say, they start researching it and they discover that I did not finish the Boston Marathon that year. I did not. They caught me because I never said I ran the whole Boston Marathon that year. I didn't pretend to. So the story behind that, and because I got receipts for everything, and I'll read it to you here, right? So the jig's up. Yesterday, I said I was a Boston Marathon bombing survivor because I crossed the finish line that year. And I was less than 100 yards from the second bomb going off. Internet sleuths looked into it and discovered I was never registered. They caught me. As I previously documented, I took the train to the top of Heartbreak Hill at mile 21 in Newton and awaited the arrival of my brother, who's much faster than me. Okay. So, my brother ran Division I cross country for Loyola Marymount for a year before transferring to the University of Notre Dame. And he's the third in my family. I'm the oldest. And so he's a pretty good runner. And he was, he was 26, 27. So right in the prime of his running career or whatever. And he was, he was going to have a good time that day. He'd done marathons before. And he was, he ended up finishing in 2:53, which saved his, if he was 45 minutes slower, he could have got blown up, So but I've run Boston before and I know. So how Boston works is it starts in Hopkinton and Ashland, easiest shit you'll ever do in your life. That's 5 miles downhill. It's fucking great. And then Framingham comes up. Framingham's all flat for like 2.5, 3 more miles. Boom. Go through the center of Framingham. You're out. Then you're in Natick, right? Natick, flat or downhill, whatever. Okay. It's no problem. Natick. Wellesley, go through 4 or 5 miles of Wellesley, not even. You go through the Screaming Girls at the half-mile mark, at the 13-mile mark. It's awesome. Wellesley's fun. And then you come to this terrible place at the 16th mile called Newton. Newton is hell. The 6.5 miles of the marathon is in Newton, and it's all hills. They say it's Heartbreak Hill, but you don't even know which one's Heartbreak Hill. It's just hill after hill after hill. And they're big fucking hills too. It sucks. They're long. And so you're feeling good through like 16 miles of Boston. Like, and then you get to Newton and it just, those hills fuck you up. Anyone who's ever done Boston before knows those Newton hills fuck you up. And then by the time you get to the top of the Heartbreak Hill at mile 21, you got 5 miles left, right? And it's all downhill from there. You go down past Boston College and you go through Brookline and into Boston and into Boylston Street. And it's a downhill. It should be easy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your fucking legs are so beat up from going up those hills in Newton that it doesn't matter if you're going up or down at that point. Every fucking step kills. So I know what it's like. I've done this before. And so, and I also, what's the coolest thing about Boston is that the entire time for 26.2 miles, starting in Hopkinton and ending in Boston, there is not a single moment in the course where there are not people there, right? Cheering you on. And these complete strangers are cheering for you. Once you get to Newton, it gets like loud. You know, they got the bells and they tell you to write your name on your shirt so that people cheer your name. And that shit helps. I'm sorry. It's like mental, but it helps because people are, let's go, Aidan, let's go, you know, cheering you on. And I go back to the marathon and I do the same thing for people because it's like, I've been there before. I know that shit helps, right? It's a cool event. Like I love the Boston Marathon. It is a uniting event. It is pure goodness. It's healthy. People raise a lot of money for good causes. Like it's just cool. You know, it's a cool event. That's why those guys are such pieces of shit that blew it up. They ruined the most peaceful and awesome event ever. And so I'm like, okay. I forget where I was going with this. But yeah, so I'm like, I'm going to go and cheer my brother on and I'm going to run him in the last 5 miles because you could just jump in the race back then. So I'm like, I'm going to run him in and run with them. So I waited for him right at the top of mile 21, right? This is a picture I took on that day. It's got metadata on it, right? And I'm just waiting for him to show up. And then I see him there. He's in the top 1,000, which is good for Boston. And I jump in with him and I start running him in. He's pretty tired, but he's still going. And I'm like, I kind of pace him a bit and I'm getting the crowd pumped up and the crowd's getting louder as you get closer to Boston or whatever. And across the finish line. And when you cross the finish line, they just give you a medal. Okay. They have unlimited amounts of medals. They probably print out 50,000 of these. They get them for 2 cents each from China. And they print them out. Okay. It's not a big deal getting the fucking medal. And so they just give me a medal and I'm like, okay, so I got a medal. And that's where I took this picture from. Right. There we are. Okay. After completing the marathon, I didn't complete it. I ran 5 miles of it. Right. And so anyway, and then I told you the story we found. We went and got food at the Prudential Center. Bomb blows up. Then we find a guy from Montana. We ended up walking all the way to Roxbury before we could get a cell phone signal and got the fuck out of here. Okay. So anyway, back to my story here. Okay. So I said, I jumped in. I ran the last 5 miles, blah, blah, blah. He ran a 2:53 that day. I filmed the final stretch on Boylston Street, true story, and ended up sending the video footage to the FBI in case I inadvertently filmed the terrorist, which I did not. Later on, we saw the bomb go off, blah, blah, blah. Montana guy. And I gave him my medal. And the trolls are like, oh, dude, they're so retarded. Even this story, they're getting mad at. They're like, so you accepted a medal? Wow, you didn't decline a medal. You took it. See, I would not. Normally, I would be like, explain that. But like, no, they just give you a medal. Like, it's not like anyone didn't get a medal that didn't deserve one. It's not like I stole a medal from someone else. There's a fucking boxes of them. They just give them out. They probably have thousands extra left over afterwards. It's not a big deal. But secondly, I ended up giving it away, which is right in the message, which you could have read, but you didn't because you're just being a dink. And since you're not being a serious person and trying to engage me in any sort of serious discussion about this, I'm just going to tell you that I fucked your mom. That's all. I just got banged your mom. That's it. And you can call me immature. It's like, that's how people like that should be treated. If you're not a serious person trying to have a serious discussion about something, I'm just going to tell you that I fucked your mom because I did. Okay. And I didn't call her either. That's it. I just fucked her. So there's that. Anyway. So back to what I was saying. So yeah, I gave him the medal. And by the way, I'd like to point out too, if I had not accepted that medal, then the guy from Montana never would have gotten it. Right? If I'd be like, no, I can't accept that. I didn't run. I didn't run the whole thing. I didn't earn that. Then I would have nothing to give from the guy from Montana. So that guy from Montana probably still has his Boston Marathon bomb. The guy was probably so excited. He's like, I'm from Montana. We have grizzly bears and, big skies and, beautiful sunsets and Flathead Lake and a small chunk of Yellowstone. We have all that. We have moose and all this stuff, but we don't have the Boston Marathon or anything like it. And then he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to train all year long in the mountains of Montana. And I'm going to fly out to Boston for this, to run the marathon. Look at me. I got a hotel and I invested in this and I'm excited. I'm going to tell all my friends and family about this. Boom, terrorist attack. What? Now he's lost in Boston. He's dead. He's not physically dead. He's like tired and he's got nothing. And then along comes Turtleboy and gives him a medal. I say, good job, sir. You earned this, sir. So I'm kind of a hero for that guy. I don't even know his name. I never talked to him again, but it's just a fact. So anyway, I said, however, I've run Boston twice, right? And you will never see me on the official results either. So if you go looking for those, you won't find me either. And here's why. So I previously ran the Boston Marathon twice. And I didn't get a bib number because it's really hard to qualify for the Boston Marathon because you have to run a previous marathon and you have to run it in 3 hours or less for like my age group, which is almost, I can't do that shit. Some people can. I can't. I'll never be able to do that because it's hard, man. My PR in a half marathon, I ran the Worcester half marathon in 1:25. But I couldn't do that twice. No way. I'm a 5K guy. But PR on a 5K, 17:05, right? But I cannot run a marathon's a whole different ball game, man. Whole different ball game, especially Boston because you have to train through the winter. I'll never do it. My body, especially at this age, no fucking way I could do it now. Absolutely not. So anyway, they have high qualifying standards for a reason because a lot of people want to get in, and they only have so many spots. So, the option then you have two options. You could sign up to raise money for a charity. And if you were to do that, you got to give them your credit card and pledge to raise $10,000. And if you don't raise $10,000, then you pay that. So you got to, and I'm like, I was a teacher back then. I couldn't afford to take that chance, I also didn't have the platform I have now to like raise that kind of cash. So I did what lots of other runners did, something called banditing. Banditing is a Boston Marathon tradition. And thousands of people before the terrorist attack would go to Hopkinton and just jump in the race at the beginning. And they even gave us our own corral. They'd say, bandits, hold off. And all the bandits would meet up at the middle school, Hopkinton Middle School, and kind of come down as a group. And it was a well-accepted Boston Marathon tradition that everybody knew that Boston Marathon's hard to get into. People banded it. It's no big deal. It was just regularly accepted. It stopped. They started cutting down on it after the terrorist attack. But, back then, anyone could just do it. So I ran it twice. I ran in 2007. I raised money. I raised money for, if you click on this article, I coached Doherty High School track at the time, track and field. And we didn't have enough uniforms. We had like 50 kids on the team. So it's like coach, this is 2007, this article, coach running for uniforms. So I raised money for I just urged people to donate, and yeah, that's how we did that. So that was 2007. Then I did it again in 2012, right? And in 2012, it was 87 degrees that day. That was the year before the bombing. It was so hot. I met Ray Allen's mother that day. She ran the marathon, and over 3,000. Boston gave people the chance. The BAA said you can defer to next year if you want. You can just run the marathon next year. And I'm like, I ain't running the marathon next year. This is a lot of fucking training. I'm not doing this again. So I'm just going to run it. Fuck it. And I was planning on getting engaged at the marathon. I had a fucking ring, and that was the whole plan, was to propose at the end of the marathon. And then we were going to go to Disney after that. And so I start running, right? And it's fucking hot. Let me tell you, it was hot. And somebody, they wrote on my chest, marry me, Julie. That was my ex-wife's name. Didn't work out that well. Okay. And there it is. So I posted this on the Twitwat. That's in Framingham. Bro, it was so hot. It was 87 degrees. There's no shade in Framingham. There's no shade in Natick. It was horrible. And so I start running, and I wanted to quit. People were quitting left and right. People were dropping out of this, especially when you get to Newton. There's world-class athletes, intense, dying. And I'm like, fuck it. I have to keep going because I'm getting engaged at the end of this. I'm holding a fucking engagement ring. Yeah. By the time I got there, it was all sweat. Everything was gone. It was not a well planned out idea. Okay. And so I get there, and I walked a good portion of the second half. I ended up finishing well over 4 hours. And but yeah, so that's my Boston Marathon story. So but they caught me, guys. They caught me. But anyway, I've been on a lot of rants tonight. Let me read some turtle chats, speaking of rants, and then we'll get to some more content, shall we? All right. Again, if anyone wants their messages read, click on the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me $, Uncle Turtleboy. Nice. I'm not romantic at all. I wouldn't even qualify that as romantic. I would not have done that again. But anyway, I lost 11 pounds that day. I went into that. I weighed 100. You're not going to believe this because I weigh a lot more now. Going into that race, I weighed 158 pounds. I weighed in at the end of it 147 pounds. I lost 11 pounds in one day. It was unhealthy. That was like, you could die doing that shit. But anyway, nice to see the Red Sox are winning. They've on a 3-game losing streak. That's it. But anyway, yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's bang through these. All right. Morrissey's Funeral Home sends $5 and goes, I wish I could be there tomorrow. Good luck. Print this. Will do. Jolene sends $10, goes, hello, Mr. Media. When you are a free turtle, would you consider coming to a venue in the UK or Ireland so all your Irish, Scottish, English, and Welsh fans can see you live? If the ticket sales covered your expenses, of course. You deal with so many shitty people, it must be exhausting. Just remember, you are loved by thousands. Love from Derry, Ireland. Somebody messaged me about that the other day and tell me about. I mean, maybe. Can I do the Wilbur first? Let's see if we can sell something in Boston first before we start talking about Turtleboy Dublin. We'll see. We'll see. All right, next up. Sarah sends $50 and goes, hi, Turtleboy. I told you to look out for my turtle chat. So here it is. Again, please consider changing your show to 8 p.m. Maybe I will. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe. Would you guys like it more at 8 or do you like it at 9? Keep in mind, I got a bigger audience now. Not everybody's watching at 9 because our Montana Turtle Riders are watching this at 7, actually, because they're Mountain West. depending on what part of the state. I think the whole state's Mountain West, I think. But okay, cool. We'll see. Maybe maybe we can start doing it 8. We'll see. 8 would be great. That rhymes. All right, next up. Robbie sends $5 and goes, Aidan with an E. Kearney is the 5th ranked high school baseball player in the country for the class of 2028. I thought you might find that pretty cool and can root for him one day. Is that true? That's pretty cool, but he spells his name wrong. But at least cool. That's cool too, because he's not going to take my Wikipedia page. So I got that going for me. So thank you. All right. Chantel sends $5 and goes, please use my YouTube name, Hissy Fits. Too late. Keep being you. Lots of love from Canada. We need more journalists like you on both sides of the border. Well, thank you very much, Hissy Fits. Carlos sends $50, goes, hey, Doc, enough respect to you from Toronto, Canada. All sorts of Canucks. Learned of you on the KR case last year. I was so hooked. So many great law tubers I enjoyed. Best thing I've taken from all this, besides loving the Karen is free, is that I discovered you. Turtleboy World, Turtle Riders, been binging on your earlier stuff. You're a Columbo-style badass. Every big city needs a Turtleboy to call out corrupt mofos and bad behavior. So thank you very much. I appreciate that so much, Carlos. And I've been in Toronto once. I was surprised how big it was. It was like New York. Like, I didn't realize how big Toronto was. It's fucking huge. It was expensive, too. Really expensive. But thank you very much. Brittany sends $10. Hi, Turtle Boy. Did you warn the Wilbur about the trolls? I hope they don't fold to the threats or any attempt to cancel you. You know, I don't think they will. I did not warn them. I mean, I figured they know who I was, you know? I also figure if... I don't know, just my conversations with them, they didn't seem to give a shit. They were like, they're not worried about they probably had controversial people there before. I'm not that controversial. I helped save an innocent woman's life. I don't think that's controversial. So there's that. Emily sends $85. All right. She goes, hey, nutbag, don't worry. According to Proctor, it's a compliment. I love the new intro. Best of luck tomorrow. Well, thank you, Emily. See, you're too kind. Is that Emily? Is that the Emily from TikTok whose content I love? Thank you very much, miss. Mimi sends $25, goes, good luck in court, Aidan. I'm wicked proud of you. Go get him, kid. I can't wait for the Wilbur with Auntie Deb. Me too. Emily sends $25, goes, crowd daddy. Just wanted to let you know that your courage and bravery is an inspiration to many. I love watching your show and have followed the Karen retrial religiously since season 1. Never forget how respected and loved you are by those who matter. We've got your back. Sending you the best tomorrow. We ain't got no quit. You guys are just, you really uplift a trigger, don't you? I love you fine people. And that is Emily, TikTok Emily. Thank you. You're very funny. Thank you. All right, next up. Jen and Mike in Arizona send $25, goes, what's up, Turtle Boy? We emailed you a few intro songs that we created especially for you to use for Ratchet Madness. We created them so there's no copyright strikes. And they will not demonetize you. I got to hear this. They are pure gold, my dude. We hope you enjoy listening as much as we enjoyed creating. Well, now I got to go listen. So thank you, Jen and Mike from Arizona. Erica sends $25, goes, Mike Blaney, don't be a douche. Pay your child support. Yikes. Get your shit together, Mike. You won't have to get called out on Turtle Boy. Thank you. Courtney sends $150. Woo! And says, Doctor, grifting is big tonight. Please shout out my amazing husband, Philip. He's a strong, educated, successful leader and protector for me and my girls. We love and respect him so much. And it's the absolute honor and a privilege of my life to be his wife. Jesus Christ. What's it like to be that in love? That's so cool. That is so cool. Like, I mean, that's a good wife right there. Send a $150 turtle chat with a shout out like that. That's very cool. Very cool. So thank you. Be like Courtney's wife. Don't be like Mike Blaney. Come on, Mike, you got to get your shit together. You just be like Phil. Be like Phil. He's way cooler than you. Okay. Phil don't have to pay child support. Phil raises his kids and stays with her, you know, not that there's anything wrong with child support. It's good to pay. People get divorced to pay child support, right? That's a good woman right there. So thank you very much, Courtney. I mean, that's cool. If you're going to do that, you do something like that for your husband and like build him up like that in front of all these people. That's love right there. You know, that's love. So that's pretty cool. So thank you. When you like shout out, when you're so proud to be with your spouse that you just want to let the whole world know about it. Like, look at me. You know, I love this motherfucker. This motherfucker's great. I'm honored and privileged to be married to this mofo. You know, that's love right there. That's a beautiful thing. So good for you guys. Really happy for you. All right, cool. Next. Brian sends $20 and goes, Vineyard cops I criticized put me in jail for many months under $100,000 bail for a Facebook post. They said I was a threat to murder all cops on Martha's Vineyard. Dismissed. Life ruined. Wow, that's disturbing. Sorry to hear that, Brian. Okay, Lee from Plainville sends $5, goes, they tried to revoke your bail for saying that you hope Tully died. Didn't Proctor say under oath via text message that he wished Kearney would just kill herself? That is exactly, Lee, what I said when they tried revoking my bail over that. I'm like, bro, Proctor did the same thing. That's wild, you know? So there's that. Next up, Angie sends $5, goes, hey, Turtle, hope you have a great weekend. I wish I could be in Boston for your show with the Wilbur. Hope you do some kind of streaming for it. I'll be paying for that for sure. Have a great rest of your weekend. Aloha from Idaho. Aloha from Idaho. Wasn't expecting Idaho there. Thank you, Angie. Martha sends $50, goes, I'm a middle-aged flaming liberal feminist in California, and I support you 100%. Keep up the good fight. See? Turtleboy unites people of all political spectrums. It's the beauty of this. It's what I do. Thank you very much. Jen and Mike from Arizona goes, oh no, already got theirs. Gwen sends $50 and goes, Dr. Turtle, hello. September 9th will be 38 years that I've been married to my best friend. Daryl is an amazing, this is a theme tonight. Daryl is an amazing husband, father, and grandfather. Please let Daryl know that I just booked our flight from Houston to Boston on September 12th with reservations at the Revere Hotel. Tomorrow morning, I will be purchasing 2 VIP tickets to Turtleboy Live at the Wilbur. There is no better way to celebrate our anniversary than to be celebrating with you and Auntie Deb. I look forward to an evening of fun. Holy shit. Yeah, is it Valentine's Day? What's going on here? This is true love right here. 38 years they've been married. You know they're still fucking. If you're saying shit like that, you know they are. That's wild. That's like just again, maybe because I wasn't in this person. I've never been like it's. I mean, I'm divorced, so I guess maybe I'm jaded from that. But I think that's so cool when people are like so in love like that, where they're like, you know, like, let me pump up my man and tell you how fucking awesome he is. Like, I think that's old school. I think that's cool. So good for you guys. So thank you. And you're taking him to Turtleboy. Like, that's even better. Dope. So thank you very much. All right, next up, Donna Adelson's arm incident sends $20 and goes, a fake survivor wants you to buy his real book. See, Joel's a fake survivor. And by the way, what's the deal with the name of his show and his book, Surviving the Survivor? The more you think about that, you're like, wait a minute. Aren't you talking shit about your mom? Aren't you saying that, like, isn't he suggesting that his mom is like abusive? I mean, isn't that what's implied by that title? Surviving the Survivor? So you survived your mom? So what do you mean you survived her? Is that like a joke? Is that like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing? Like, oh, she was so strict, I survived. And like, but I love my mom kind of thing? Or is this like a Catholic Church kind of survival? Like, what are you saying, Joel? What does that mean? What does that mean? So anyway, I don't know what's up with that, Joel. All right, next up. I think it's a joke. I hope it's a joke, but it's a weird name. Of all the book names you're going to give, like Surviving the Survivor, what did you survive? I don't know. Okay. I wish I could call Joel. If anybody has a number, I'd call him right now. I don't even know where Joel's from. He sounds like he's from like New York or Jersey or something. He's got that accent. Anybody know where he's from? Oh, wait, declare. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, he's single. I think Will always be single. Nothing wrong with that either. Oh, he's from Miami. He doesn't sound like it. He sounds like he's from Jersey, but yeah. All right. Anyway, next up. Rosaline sent $10, goes, Dr. Turtleboy, fun fact, you know Joel's mom is known to swear like a sailor. He often tells her to mind her language on the show. See, Carm, you have so much in common with Turtleboy. Good luck this week in court. I'm saying, bro, me and Carm would hit it off real good. Carm, call me, Carm. Like, picture how awesome that show would be if I got Carm on. Picture that. And we just kind of made jokes about Joel, and we talked about his childhood. We had a little playful fun with it. Because I think her and I have a lot in common. We're both survivors. I survived the Boston Marathon terrorist attack, and she survived the Holocaust. And, we both have a lot of cool stories to tell. We're both interesting. And, one of us has raised an uninteresting child, but she probably wants to vent about it. If you were Carm, wouldn't you be like kind of frustrated with Joel? Wouldn't you be like, oh, Joel, he's just, he's not, I grew up struggling. I lived in a freaking nunnery till I was 6, and my dad was gone. I immigrated to America to get away from it all. Like I'm interested in her life story, and she's a really interesting person, it sounds like. And then she's like, then I came to America, and I had the American dream, the white picket fence, the husband, the family, the kids, it all. But the problem with that is your kids don't know the struggle. The kids that didn't grow up in it, they don't know the struggle. It's like these NFL stars, like Deion Sanders. I don't know Deion Sanders' whole stories, but some of these NFL guys, like they're from the streets. They grew up poor. And then they became millionaires, and then they have kids. And Shador went to the best camps, and he grew up. He had a nice existence. Shador doesn't know what it's like to struggle like Deion did when he was a kid. A lot of these athletes' kids are like that. Howie Long's kids. A lot of kids are like that. Anyway. All right. But so yeah, she knows fucking bro. That would be after Ellen Jackson in Paula Prado. That would be the third best interview I've ever had. Sit down with Carm. We need to make that happen. Carm, I love you. Call me. All right. Next. Leslie sends $10, goes, Josh is the George Santos of YouTube. Yeah, I follow. George Santos is in jail. Huh? No, he finally went. George Santos, to his credit, said free Karen Reed the day that she was. I'm like, yeah, George Santos even saying it. And George Santos is a scammer, bro. He got 7 years in jail, like federal prison, and he was tweeting up until the last day. Yeah, I followed him. His Twitter was wild. I don't know if anybody else follows George Santos on Twitter, but he didn't give a fuck towards the end. I'm like, bro, how is this guy just tweeting up a storm? Oh, he's not in jail yet? He was doing like a countdown on his Twitter to when he would have, when he's got to turn himself in. He's like, I'm going to fucking hate it there. It's like, dude, oh, he laundered money, I think. I don't know. That was a quick fall from grace he had, huh? Jeez Louise. All right, cool. Next. Sean sends $5 because you pointed out in Joel's bio that it says hashtag Holocaust survivor mom. It made me think of how colleges sell merch for the student parents. Example, a t-shirt that says Notre Dame mom. It's a lot like that. I'm surprised Joel hasn't created a t-shirt that says Holocaust son. You're kidding, but not really kidding. Kidding, but not really kidding. Sinead sends $25 goes, I just tried to leave Joel a 1-star review on Amazon for a stupid book, but it keeps saying review submitted. What a twat. Best of luck in court tomorrow, Doc. Well, thank you very much, Sinead. What else do we got going on here? A couple cash apps. These. All right. Meatball Morrissey's Sketty Stain sends $10 and goes, card. Card, it just says. I see what you, that's good comedy. Megan sends $20 and goes, thank you for being you. It's the only person I know how to be. You're very welcome, Megan. Thank you. Chad sends $5 and goes, hi, Turtleboy. Hey, Chad. Chad's got some wild cash apps. Mary Ann sends $25, goes, when do we see the cheesy banana emails? What's a cheesy banana email? I don't get what that means. But one of the things we're doing tomorrow, a big thing, is trying to take the Cosgrove to Unimpound Town. So Lisa sends $25 and goes, your favorite librarian, Lisa. She is my favorite librarian in Dedham, of all places. And she is told me that she's bought the I Am Turtleboy book on Amazon, and she's going to put it in the Dedham library. So she's donating my book, and it means a lot to me because it's historic. You know, people should read about Turtleboy. So thank you very much for that. We did have some cash apps from yesterday's. I just want to read. $10 from Gilly Girl says, Joel gives me Plevin vibes. F-U Joel, STD. He does. A little bit. He's a little more serious than Plevin. I mean, they're both on Court TV a lot, so I guess they have that in common. So Adrian yesterday sent $100 and just said for the defense fund. Thank you so much, Adrian. Jen Altman sent $15 and goes, Joe Waldman's big fucking mouth. So thank you very much for that. Okay. If anyone else wants their messages read, click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way. Okay. Some things I want to do here, because we got a bunch of shit I want to get through. Okay. First, I want to talk about actually, let me see. My lawyers are, I'm going to group text with my lawyers. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. What does this say? So this is from Cosgrove. Based on Mr. Bettero's representation of the thumb drive I presented you with on July 7th, in fact, contained thousands of blank pages, I have caused a replacement drive to be made. I have reviewed it, and I am satisfied that every page of the pertinent emails of Lieutenant Tully's that were intended to be produced on the July 7th drive is present. What? Not on the July 7th thumb drive, but added here is a folder for an audio interview between Mr. Kearney and Mr. Scanlon, which was produced for me after inquiry to Adam Lally. What? The replacement thumb drive is identified as this on the thumb drive. It will go out to Mr. Bradle today. I repeat my request for the return of the previously provided drive so that I may verify the existence of the problem and see if its source can be ascertained. What is he even saying? What does that even mean? What is he even saying, guys? I don't even... What the fuck is this? Do I have to read that again? All right, let's read. I'll just share this with you guys. I don't know what this means. Dude, this guy is a trip. Hold on. So again, they sent us 3,000. They said they have 4,700 pages of Brian Tully's emails that they gave us on July 7th. Over 4,000 of those pages are blank. So we're like, what the fuck, dude? What's going on? Okay. So he goes, Based on Mr. Bradle's representation that the thumb drive I presented to you contained thousands of blank pages, it did. I have caused a replacement drive to be made. What does that mean? I have reviewed it, and I'm satisfied that every page of the pertinent emails of Lieutenant Tully's that were intended to be produced on the July 7 drive is present. Okay, so we're going to be getting 4,000 emails tomorrow. Okay. Not on the July 7 thumb drive, but added here is a folder for an audio interview between Mr. Kearney and Mr. Scanlon, which was produced to me after inquiry to Adam Lally. What? Okay. So they tried to indict me. This is another thing they tried to indict me for. Wiretapping Scanlon. On November 28th, 2023, they convened a grand jury and they called Steve Scanlon as and they claimed to have a tape of me wiretapping him. It's me interviewing him. It's kind of undeniable that I'm interviewing him on the tape, and they claim that it's wiretapped. But I was never indicted. They asked the grand jury to indict me on wiretapping of Steve Scanlon, and they did not. So they've already tried this. They already tried to indict me on wiretapping, and to no avail. The grand jury did not indict me, but he's saying here that he has that, which was produced for me after inquiry to Adam Lally. So it looks like he asked Adam Lally for a copy of that tape. Is he trying to indict me again? What is he even saying? What? Oh, it's in the Dropbox? Hold on. I got to see this now. Oh, great. So we got all these emails. We just got 4,200. They just gave us 4,200 pages of emails from Tully. This is why this is happening in real time. Oh, I'm on it right now. I can't show any of these. Do we actually, let's go to page 4,000. Are there actually emails here? The night before we have court, they finally give us this. This is how they do. The night before we have a hearing, they give us 4,200 pages of Brian Tully's emails. So now I'm going to be up all night reading these mofos. Look at all this shit. What page am I on now? False report to public safety dispatch misdemeanor. What? Oh, Steve Cody. Oh God, Steve Cody's charges. Okay, we got his shit in there. Oh my God. We got all the shit from Steve Cody here. Wow. What the fuck? Oh my God, I can't wait to read all this. 4,200 pages of shit here. This is crazy talk. Grand jury, grand jury, grand jury. Sorry, I'm sorry if you're bored with this. This is wild. What the fuck? So much shit's redacted though. I see redacted, redacted, redacted. Police reports. I've seen a lot of this shit. Oh God, body worn cameras. Oh God. Redacted, redacted, redacted. What page am I on now? I'm on page 385 of 4,000. Awesome. and they gave us the Scanlon shit, the Scanlon recording. Do we have this?
You opened everyone's eyes because I was like, this is fucking bullshit. This dude got beat up.
Right.
It appears he got beat up. And that's all. I mean, I've been just following you. You know, and when you're out and about, everybody in the world's talking about it. And everybody has the same point of view you have.
Oh, I know.
It is what it is.
But,
So Scanlon says there that okay. So that was just given to us for some reason. Maybe we'll play that sometime. But not right now. On page 70, let's see. I got to see this on page 70. Hold on. Sorry. this is a lot. This is like my life is on the line. Oh yeah, I've seen that one before. Yeah, this is wild. Like Brian Tully. So during my January 8th, 2024 restraining order hearing with the fake victim, when I was in custody, we submitted her and our entire text message conversation to the court. Brian Tully, because it's public record, then went and got our entire text message conversation and was able to read it. And the only thing they were interested in was the stuff about the feds. So that's just wild. But anyway, I'm just going to stop talking about this now. It's like they give us the night to court. They give us this the night before court. Like, this is insane that this is how they do. But anyway, what was I saying here? I had a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about here, but I forget what it was now. Okay. All right. What else? Oh, the interview with Colonel Mon. I want to play part of that. WBZ. It's got to be on WBZ. Christina Rex had an interview with Colonel Mon. And I thought it was interesting. There it is.
By the environment, but also.
So the first 15 minutes is like useless. She asked him the dumbest questions, but I'm willing to give this guy a chance, and I want to hear what he has to say first. So this is he's from New Jersey. He's like an outsider. Of course, he's a conehead though. By statute, you must be a conehead.
Why are we there? Well, we're there to uncover the truth. And I believe that it's our job, and in my job, sitting in this role currently as the colonel, to make sure that we are being loud and clear with the why and what we expect from our troopers. And that why absolutely is, as far as investigations goes, is aligned with the core mission of uncovering the untruth, wherever it takes you. So we've taken some steps towards that. If you'll allow me to describe it, one particular step that we've done is we have, if you are an investigator, if you're assigned to an investigation role within the Massachusetts State Police, I look at that, and our team looks at that as an expertise, as an expert position. And with that comes the expectations that our troopers will be prepared, trained, and will perform as an expert. So to that effect, we've implemented a new in-service program for our specialized units, where just like a doctor has to go or a lawyer has to go for continuing education credits, any trooper that's assigned to a specialized unit will be required to undergo advanced training to keep up with the changing dynamics or the environment, but also be adaptive, but also understand where we can do better. That's part of it. That's part of a really healthy organization. So we just put our troopers who were assigned to investigations, about 500 or so troopers, through that first exercise, through that first training. That's new. And that's not going to stop with one training. That's going to be a continuing process that will occur, certainly as long as I'm here.
Just a couple more questions on this particular topic. The few other officers troopers associated with that investigation faced some minor discipline, and most of them were moved out of the Norfolk County District Attorney's office. Was that your call, or was that the DA's call? And do you feel at this point like there's been sufficient accountability for that case?
Ultimately, the transfer of troopers lies with me.
Okay.
Ultimately, our policies, so transfers of troopers at the end of the day comes down and under statute is under the authority of the superintendent. So the transferring of the colonels ultimately is my decision.
Mm-hmm.
That said, moving certain troopers that were involved in that investigation, it ultimately is my decision, and I believe it's the right decision. But that decision was
Interesting.
that was felt across multiple levels that we needed to make some changes. So it wasn't
Why?
When I got here and started assessing some personnel decisions, putting new commanders, new supervisors in key positions, particularly in Norfolk County, I firmly believe was
Particularly.
a decision in the best interest of the Commonwealth, of the citizens of Norfolk County, and the Mass State Police, and I wasn't alone in that decision.
So just based on having covered both of these trials, it's pretty clear that state police, based on their investigation, as well as prosecutors in this case, believed that Karen Reed was responsible for John O'Keefe's death. Do you feel as though state police's performance in that investigation contributed to the lack of conviction at the end of the day?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think anytime when you have a charge that's brought to a defendant, and as the lead investigative agency in this case, which was the Mass State Police has, and you have a case where the jury finds that there's not probable cause to convict, then absolutely the
So my question, what I would ask for a question with that was, so if they did convict, would that be just? Would you be okay with if somehow you got a conviction out of that? Because they're acting like the problem here is that there was no conviction. No, it doesn't matter if there was a conviction or not. It was wrong no matter what the jury said, period. So like you're only doing this. So if she had been convicted, you would just move on and be like, yep, everything's fine. So you're only doing this because you lost? Is that what you're saying? Not because it's wrong?
The investigative body has to look through that and to say why. Did we not give the jurors enough information? Did our mechanisms that we had in play to report that?
Did we not give the jurors enough information? Bro, they planted taillight. You had a guy, your lead investigator was calling the victim's girlfriend horrible names and talking about balloon knots and shit. Like what? You're basically saying like, oh, we just lost. We could have done better. Dude, she didn't do it. Like, how are you? Like, that's the problem here is you guys went after an innocent person. They don't get it.
Was our investigation lacking? So I think we, the state police, have to look in the mirror and say, yeah, what could we have done better? What are areas?
What could you have done better? You could have prosecuted the people who killed John O'Keefe. That was always an option. You could have prosecuted the people who quite clearly killed John O'Keefe. You could have gone in Brian Albert's house. You could have treated suspects. I mean, let's see what he says. Does he say anything specific?
In this case, this case obviously was very publicized, so we don't have to look far to really look through that and then to be focused on moving forward and say, we need to put, what can we have done? But I would just add to that and to say that the way the state police is operating right now, it's not limited to one particular case.
Right.
Every single event, the way that our management structure is operating right now, we are in a posture right now where everything we do, whether it's a motor vehicle crash investigation, whether it's a security incident or a security event like the Boston fireworks show where we had a huge security presence, or it's a marathon event, or it's any event, we have a management style in place right now with the state police that we are after actioning what we do with the notion that we can do better. So it's that sense of humility that we have to take.
Okay, so this is just word salad. He's not saying anything. And Christina's just like, Imagine getting this guy and like you're not holding. This is why nobody watches the mainstream media, because you got the good nobody's talking about this interview. There's not a lot of buzz about this.
Look ourselves in the eye across the board and say, yeah, where can we improve? If we're doing things great, that's great. And we are doing things great, and we'll enhance those areas and we'll replicate them. But it's incumbent upon us to ensure, and we have done that, and we will continue to do that, whether it's the trial in Norfolk County or really all of our operations.
Do you feel confident saying now that if a situation like the death of John O'Keefe, something similar were to happen tomorrow, that it would be handled differently by troopers?
I have every bit of confidence sitting here today that if we have an investigation that we're called to today, regardless of the scope, regardless of the complexity, that we have a team of Massachusetts State Police in play. We have the managerial controls in play to ensure that.
Okay, so I haven't watched this. I don't know what she's going to say next. What I would say was, if in the future you find a dead body, or have you changed the policy that if you made it clear to troopers, if you find a dead body on someone's lawn, you go in the person's house? At the very least, you apply to get a search warrant for that person's house. You write a probable cause affidavit. You try to get a search warrant. Is that a policy now? Yes or no? Will you be separating witnesses when you interview them? Is that a new policy that you're going to require for them? Are you going to require state police to tape off a crime scene regardless of the elements? What will you do next time a murder takes place during a blizzard? Because there will be blizzards in the future and people might die during them. Do you have a policy for that? Instead of her just saying, would it be different? That's so vague. Ask the tough questions, Christina. You got this guy. You got to ask him.
Investigations right now are being done to excellent standards right now.
I want to ask you about Sandra Birchmore as well. I know this is also before your time, but it is a case that's now ongoing at the federal level. And it seems as though there was a local investigation, a state police investigation, then ultimately nothing came of that until the feds got involved. And now, local cop is in jail. Where and why did state police drop the ball there? And is that part of what you're looking into in your role?
Certainly it is. And that investigation certainly is ongoing right now. So I can't comment specifically on that investigation.
That investigation is ongoing by who? Who is it ongoing by?
Okay.
Specifically. That said, I think there's no, when it comes to us working with our federal partners, to speak this a little bit more broadly, we welcome another agency coming in and looking at investigation. I think there's a little bit of misinformation out there that there is on whether it's that particular case or others. We welcome that. And if another entity, another law enforcement partner, in this case, the federal authorities come in and say, hey, we want to look at this case. We want to engage. We want to work through the evidence. We have the shared common goal.
Okay.
And on this case, as well as the other areas where we work, there's no space between us. We want the same thing. I've communicated that directly with our federal partners that anything.
Like what? How is she not being like, stop? But your findings are completely different from the federal findings. You guys said your detectives, John Fanning and Matthew Dunn and Nicholas Garino, said that Sandra Birchmore committed suicide. These guys, the feds, say she was murdered. So why are you acting like this is some sort of unified front that you both have the same, you're working towards the same goal? You're clearly not. How does she not ask that?
We can do from the Mass State Police on any investigation to support a thorough investigation. And there are times when one department comes in and helps another department realize success. There's times when another department, that's law enforcement. And that's why it is so critical that we work well with our partners. So we support any of their efforts to do. We are continuing to support that investigation in any means necessary.
So the way the public might perceive the FBI coming in as a failure of state police, you don't see it that way.
Well, I can understand that there's perceptions out there. That specific, again, I won't speak to that specific investigation, or perhaps when the time comes, when it's appropriate to, I'd be happy to. But as far as that specific investigation, because it's an ongoing investigation, I can't speak to that.
Okay. How do you bring that up and not mention the name John Fanning? How do you not mention that if you're Christina? Come on.
I know we have spoken a little bit about this, but Enrique Delgado Garcia, he was in training. He passed away during his state police training. Do you have an update on the status of the internal investigation here?
So to be clear, when we say an internal investigation, that there is no internal investigation regarding the death of Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia.
There is no.
That investigation has been assigned.
It's now an external
investigation. It's an external investigation. So I just want to be clear. And that investigation is being done by an independent prosecutor who was assigned. That decision was made before I got here. And obviously that decision, I believe, is wholeheartedly appropriate. And by design, the Massachusetts State Police is walled off from that investigation. So we don't have an investigation into his death. I'm aware that there's an investigation ongoing. We're completely cooperating with that investigation. And we, like so many others, the community, the family, we want the same answer. We are eager to hear the results of the investigation. And we are eager to understand the circumstances when it's appropriate. And I also understand that this is taking a considerable amount of time. I can't.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Again, I've been over the Enrique Delgado thing, Garcia. My sources told me he had a brain aneurysm, but I don't know. It sounded like a freak thing. There could be more to it. I find it hard to believe this guy was murdered in front of all these recruits. And they're like, yeah, so let's fucking cover this one up. Like, I find that hard to believe. Sorry. That's a tough one. And the family, there is a language barrier situation. Again, I've attempted to speak with the family. There was a language thing. It was hard. And I don't know. I don't know. You don't think it was that? Well, we'll see. I've also heard reports of a grand jury being held on that, so I don't fucking know. I don't know. But either way, some transparency would be nice, I guess, but I'm not at all convinced that he was murdered. Who murdered him? At least in the Kearney case, I could say, it was the McAlberts. They did it. So who murdered him? That's what I want to know. If anyone, didn't the family create a website for him? I think you might be able to agree to disagree. You're agreeing with Kofen-Dafer. Well, Miss G, if you have any sort of evidence that you'd like, because the thing about John O'Keefe is I bring receipts. So if you have any sort of evidence that Enrique Delgado Garcia was murdered, and you can provide the names of the people who murdered him, I'd be happy to talk about that. So I'm down. I'm down for that. But we don't even have a name. Who was he sparring with? Who was the person in charge? Anything like that? Does anybody know? Anyone know? A lot of people are talking about it. Like, oh, justice for Enrique, blah, blah. Have any of you guys got a name? No? Then what the fuck are you doing? How are you fighting for justice for Enrique when you can't get a fucking name? At least we got a name with the McAlberts. We got a bunch of names. You guys don't even have a fucking name. There's been no transparency, so go figure it out yourself. Go find that shit out. That's what we did with Kearney. We went and found shit out. Go interview people. Instead of just going on your fucking twat all day and being like, justice for Enrique, why don't you fucking call some people up? That's what people do when they want to get to the bottom of something. But you guys don't want to get to the bottom of Enrique Delgado Garcia. You just want to go on the twat all day and be like, hashtag justice for Enrique, hashtag Justin Root, hashtag Kearney. You just want to throw all these things in fucking together in the corruption pile and be like, it's all corrupt. We are anti-corruption. Okay. Well, okay, Sandra Birchmore, you got receipts, right? John O'Keefe, you got receipts. What you got on Enrique Delgado Garcia? You got anything? You got fucking anything? This has been going on for a year now. A year. I've seen fucking nothing. I have seen literally fucking nothing. I have not heard from a single person in the State Police Academy. Not fucking one. I have not heard the name of a single person involved in this. There's hundreds of recruits, maybe more. Okay. There isn't a single fucking name out there. Not even a fucking rumor. Nothing. There is fucking nothing. And we got people out here who are claiming that, oh, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're justice for Enrique. We're doing this. We're doing that. Can I get a fucking name? Can I get something? Can you give me some sort? Because I would, if Enrique Delgado Garcia was murdered and they're covering this up, I'm all for that. I'm all for exposing that. But you can't just be like, everything's a fucking murder. Everything's a cover up. And if you don't agree with that, then you're agreeing with Kofen doofus. No. That's not how shit works around here. This is the receipts channel. Okay. That's why people come to Turtleboy. Because they like receipts. I don't give a fuck if Kofen doofus happens to take the same opinion as me. It doesn't make me wrong. I'm right. I'm right because you got nothing to prove your case. Nothing. And when you do have it, bring it to me and I'll expose it. Because think about it. There's hundreds of witnesses. If Enrique Delgado Garcia was murdered, there are literally hundreds of fucking witnesses. When John O'Keefe was murdered, there was only 10 at most that witnessed it. Okay. And then the plow driver. And I found none of the people in the house wanted to talk. So I went and got the plow driver and I spoke to him. That's called fucking receipts. That's called getting shit done. That's called trying to find justice for John O'Keefe. I actually wanted justice for John O'Keefe. All this fucking justice for Enrique Delgado Garcia is bullshit because not one of you motherfuckers is tracking down a single person who is in the State Police Academy. Not one. If you guys were actually serious for justice for Enrique Delgado Garcia, you would be going out and finding the names of people in the State Police Academy. It can't be that fucking hard. It cannot be that hard to find the names. It's not like they're keeping it a fucking secret. They publish the list of graduates. You can go out and find their fucking names. You can call them up. You can ask them, what was it like there? What's the, how many people are in the groups when you do the boxing? Oh, cool. Who's in charge? How about that? Who's in charge of it? You could find out, but you don't. But you don't find out because you're not about finding shit out. You're not about getting to the bottom of shit. You're about hashtags. That's what you're about. You're about going online and doing hashtags justice for Enrique Garcia, because it's like the new cool thing that we're all, we get to have a new conspiracy and throw it on the pile and the state police. Cool. Yeah, that's what we're doing. No, you're fucking full of shit. All you motherfuckers out there with that shit are full of shit. Get me a name. Get me a name of a single recruit in the state police who was there that day. Just fucking one. And then I will say that you actually are seeking truth, but you're not. You're not. You're fucking not. You just want to go on the twat and do your hashtags, Enrique Delgado Garcia. But I digress.
Speak to that because I'm not part of that investigation. But I can say, as an investigator, broadly, I know that we want to get it right. We want to learn from it. We want to, and I'll defer to the independent prosecutor on his investigation and the timing thereof. But when the appropriate time comes, we look forward to learning about the investigation, understanding what happened, and our resolve to do everything in our power to avoid any of our trainees being hurt or dying in a training environment. Our resolve and our commitment to ensure that we do everything in our power to not have that again is never ending.
Is there anything that you have considered doing for transparency's sake? I know that these training exercises are videoed, either releasing videos from prior training exercises or from his training exercise. Have you considered any of that just to kind of keep the public informed?
I since I've been here, I have committed to being as transparent, and I think that my efforts and my actions.
See, again, this is the questions I would ask if I was Christina. You got this guy right here. So tell me about the specifics of how tell me the specifics about how I've never been to New Braintree to the state police recruiting class. I've seen pictures on there. So how does it work? Do they go in groups? Is the boxing an exercise? Do they have to do the boxing? Do you do any research on their medical conditions to find out if anyone is not suitable for this? Right? Who supervises this? Who supervises it? Who called 911? Who did that? These are the questions I would ask if I had the state police colonel in front of me. But again, there ain't no one out there that actually wants to seek the truth. They just want to get the interviews, get the clicks, and do the twats. That's it.
Since I've been here, show that under my administration here with the state police, and since I've been here, we are going to continue to be as transparent as possible. That said, it's not under my purview. I do not have the authority to be transparent regarding that specific incident. That's again under the direction.
So that case is out of your hands at the moment.
Yeah. So I again will defer to that. Now speaking of transparency at the academy, though, we are currently doing something that's never been done before. That's been unprecedented. We currently have an outside assessors, a team that we hired, independent of what the investigation. That investigation is separate. But what we have been able to do, and this is something that's come from within. But I would also say it was also ordered by Governor Healy. On the day that I got sworn in, I had a discussion with Governor Healy, and she ordered an external review of our state police academy. So while the separate investigation's been ongoing, we meaning separate from that investigation, contracted with the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and they have been on site, open doors, watching, learning, having access unfettered to our training, to our curriculum, to how we're doing it. And so I would say from a transparency standpoint, we have been doing things. We have been taking action that is unprecedented. So what's occurring right now in our current class is not happening behind some wall of silence or some closed doors. We have external folks from all over the country, experts in policing, other police departments on site, part of the training process right now. And at some point soon, they'll do a complete report, and I will look forward to reviewing that report.
And the public will eventually get to learn the results.
Absolutely. I look forward to sitting down. If you allow me, we'll talk through what those recommendations are, and where appropriate, we will adopt those recommendations.
Before I get to my final topic, which is your excellence initiative, I do need to go backwards with one question I missed, because I know that I think part of the reason we're still here, right? This trial in Norfolk County ended now months ago. Part of the reason we're still here is because there's a lot of people who can't let it go, who still feel really, really strongly about it.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to know,
right.
Given that, is the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe now closed?
Oh,
so that case, as it stands, I have to defer to the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office for the status of the investigation. That is ultimately their decision to comment on it. So I will respect that.
But your police, that's next question I was asked. Who's Brian Tully's boss? You or Michael Morrissey? That's another question I'd ask. Do the state police do the detectives unit assigned to various district attorney's offices, do they report to the district attorney or you? Because you're deflecting to them. Are you their boss, or is Michael Morrissey their boss? That seems like a relevant question to ask there.
That said, the Massachusetts State Police is what any new information, any information that is out there that can come into the Massachusetts State Police, whether it's on this case or any case, we welcome. And our posture is and always will be, we will respond accordingly to appropriate information in our seek for the truth.
Okay. Let's get into your excellence initiative. This was announced
Excellent
relatively
initiative.
recently.
What?
And I want to read this one line from the press release that you put out when you announced it. It says, the goal, more or less, is that this excellence initiative underscores the department's unwavering commitment to upholding its values of integrity and professionalism, ensuring operational excellence and accountability, fostering community engagement, and public trust. What prompted this? Was this an idea before you started here? Did this come to you as you kind of observed what was going on with state police? How did this come about?
This is a direct reflection of the way that we're doing business moving forward. We need to come, first of all, do an assessment. We need to look objectively across the board, understand where we're doing well, where we're operating well. But the way that we are approaching this is we are going to move forward with a plan, and that plan is going to be inclusive, not just from the state police. We are not sitting at our table as troopers and as with a command staff of folks wearing the uniform and saying, hey, what are we doing? Just the opposite. We've opened up that conversation.
All right, I can't even listen to this guy anymore. It's bullshit. He had one more quote, which I noticed, in which he goes, the challenge us. Let me play this one. See if I can bring this up on the Twitch or the TikTok. No, wrong one. Is it not sharing? Hold on. She's reading comments from the Facebook page. Oh, it's muted? Is it not making sense? Oh. All right. Sorry. I wish you guys told me earlier. Okay. Let me play it on this then. I know it was earlier in there.
Be a part of that and to provide the appropriate security. But again, to do that, we need to make sure that we have enough troopers. In my experience, from what I've heard at the high, that's not perfect. Controls. And
right now, you've worked in other state police
with the community,
worked in other state
agency. We do. Right. We see it as the majority.
And is it? I've seen some recruiting posts on social media from state police
Sure.
asking, do you want to become a state trooper? Here's how you do it.
Yep.
And as I'm sure you are well aware, the responses to those are not always glowing.
Yep.
So I've looked at some of them. I just want to read you a few of them.
So this is what she reads comments from the Facebook page. Shit. Every time they post something now, they get shit on.
And ask you about it. Sure. So, a post from state police saying, do you want to become a state trooper? Here's how. Some of the comments. First, fire those that put us at risk. You know who they are. Once again, you cannot recoup public trust while still maintaining Officer John O'Keefe got the investigation he deserved. Own it. Integrity. How's that Sandra Birchmore case holding up for you guys and your integrity? I can't believe state police have to recruit. It used to be one of the best jobs in the Commonwealth. Now it's a punchline. Enrique Delgado signed up to be a state trooper and ended up dead during a training exercise. No sane person would work for the stateys now because Proctor ruined them. I'm sure you see these comments. Are your recruiting efforts hindered? And why do you think that is?
I think that anytime we see an erosion of public trust, anytime a police department has an incident that calls into question the integrity of the institution or the individual troopers, absolutely there is an impact on recruiting. I think that, and we're seeing that here. That said, I also know very proudly that we have over 2,400 troopers that are out there doing the job and doing it very well every day.
Oh,
and
God.
I think that we, as the Massachusetts State Police, need to continue to ensure that we will understand, we will accept the impediments to recruiting, whether it's specific issues that we.
First of all, I have no desire to hear about the good cops right now. I get that there's good cops, no doubt about it. We all know that. I don't want to hear about that right now. I want to hear about what are you going to do about the bad cops. We know the good cops are doing the job. What are you going to do about the bad cops?
Have regarding performance of individual troopers or something more systemic that there's accusations of. But my response to that.
Here we go.
Engage with us.
Watch this.
Talk to us. We through these messages,
Listen
through our recruiting campaign, we are formally opening that door to say, learn about us. challenge us. And I expect
Challenge us.
I expect, and that's part of this job as a very public facing, and we are accountable to the public. And
hold on. I want to rewind that. Listen to this shit.
And learn about us. So that is engage with us.
Engage with us.
Talk to us.
Talk to us.
We, through these messages and through our recruiting campaign, we are formally opening that door to say, learn about us.
Learn about us.
Challenge us.
Challenge us.
Hard conversation. I expect and
oh, really? So challenge us, and you expect hard conversations, do you? Is that what you expect? You want us to challenge you and ask you tough questions. Yeah, I should do that. Oh, wait, I did that. And then you guys indicted me for witness intimidation of 2 of your troopers. Okay? Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanek. If Christina Rex wanted to ask, actually get to the bottom of this and was as talented as I am at being a journalist, and this isn't a shot at her, we can't all be Turtleboy, she would ask him. But Turtleboy did that, and he was indicted on witness intimidation charges. So don't you think that might deter people from challenging you and asking you questions? Maybe just a thought.
Part of this job as a very public facing, and we are accountable to the public. And when citizens have commentary to respond to us, absolutely, we don't shy away from that. That's part of this business. But I would also say and challenge the Commonwealth to say, take the extra step and learn about us. We have formally, one change that you have seen through our Excellence Initiative and through our community outreach efforts is we have formally opened up communications. We are doing through the very posts that you just referred to. We're opening up that door to say, come learn about us. If you're going to make a decision to pursue a career in law enforcement and the Massachusetts State Police, that's obviously a huge decision, but be informed. And we.
Oh, God. Okay, I can't even with this guy. So he's full of shit. So that was, talk about tone deaf. Talk about tone deaf. Okay. All right. Anything else here? Let's see. All right. All right, cool. So anyway, Karen Reed, by the way, also has some stuff going on in her civil case. I was going to talk about it tonight, but it's getting kind of late. I guess we can get into it real quick. Okay. So Karen Reed has filed a motion to dismiss in her civil case. Let's see if I can pull this up. But not dismiss all the charges. So just the emotional distress ones. Okay, memorandum. Okay, one sec. So they're not seeking to dismiss, part of the wrongful death. They're, which the mainstream media is kind of like reporting. They're seeking to dismiss the pain and suffering parts. That's what they're trying to do. They're referring to Karen waking up the girl, Kaylee, at 5 a.m. supposedly because, John O'Keefe, she knew John O'Keefe was dead, so she woke him up and told her for some reason, right? It makes no sense. The pain and suffering, is a separate claim. And that's what they're trying to dismiss. Okay. So they're prepping for trial. Like they're not dropping this. I thought that they would try to settle this just because it would be cheaper, but they are going forward. If the O'Keefes want to do this, and the O'Keefes are trying to, they're doing this because they're mad. They're just butthurt that they lost. Like they're shitty people. What they're doing, like Kaylee and Patrick got so much money from John's estate. They got a lot of fucking money from John's estate, and they are well taken care of because of Karen. Because Karen set up a trust fund for them, right? She did a lot of shit for them. And then they killed her boyfriend and Kaylee and Patrick's father, and they blamed it on Karen. And it's just insane that they're suing. Like, bro, a jury determined John wasn't hit by a car. So good luck that's kind of central to your claims, right? That Karen ran John over with a car. I guess we're going to have to bring the ARCA guys back. They just want to depose Karen, which they tried to do during the trial, but they couldn't do because she doesn't have to do that during the trial, obviously. Duh. And now they're going to try to depose him again, and I'm sure she'll do it. She has nothing to hide. Go ahead, do it. Do it. So yeah. That's anyway. So let's see what her defense team claims here. All right. Hold on one second. So the allegations and blah, blah, blah concerning the, all right. I'm not like Melanie Little loves this shit. She loves to go through court filings and read them because she's a lawyer. She loves that shit. And you guys all love it too. I can't. I find this, I read it quickly. I skim. I look for the key things. I'm not a big into like whatever, so she loves this shit. To me, I get a little bored doing it, but anyway, we'll find the good parts here. So plaintiffs further allege that at approximately 4:30, the defendant woke up Kaylee Furbush, talked about the decedent's death, blah, 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 and said, maybe I hit something, maybe a plow hit him. The complainant alleges that Margaret O'Keefe is the decedent's mother. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Standard of review, argument. The complaint does not identify that the decedent passed with a spouse or child, meaning that the persons entitled to any wrongful death damages are the next of kin. The next of kin are the decedent's parents, Margaret O'Keefe and John O'Keefe II. Interesting. So basically she's saying there that you guys want this money. With respects to claims that may be asserted on behalf of the decedent's parents as the next of kin, it states in part, a person who by his negligence causes the death of a person shall be liable in damages in the amount of the fair monetary value of the decedent to the persons entitled to receive damages, blah, 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 blah. Here, Margaret O'Keefe and John O'Keefe allegedly experienced an emotional reaction caused by the death of their son. As the next of kin, their claim for the loss of consortium are factored into the defendant's estate's wrongful death claim and may not be duplicated as part of any claim for emotional distress. So this is just legalese. The complaint fails to distinguish or otherwise delineate the alleged harms caused to Margaret O'Keefe and John O'Keefe Jr. between the loss of consortium, I don't even know how to pronounce that, and other emotional distress. Blah, 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 blah. I find stuff like this a little boring. The elements of reckless infliction of emotional distress are markedly different. Case law, case law, case law. The complaint's failure to specify the factual allegations in support of the different emotional distress claims warrants dismissal, or at the very least, a more definite statement. Okay, I understand that part. This argument aside, their claims appear to claim the reckless infliction of emotional distress based on the defendant's alleged formation of a false narrative and the negligent infliction of emotional distress based on certain plaintiffs' observations of the decedent's body. So that's where their emotional distress comes from. Karen Reed's comments at the hospital. No plaintiff directly witnessed the defendant's alleged negligent conduct, the alleged vehicle strike that is claimed to have occurred. That's a good point. None of them saw this stuff. Massachusetts recognizes claims for emotional injuries by parents and close relatives arising out of their witnessing an accident to a loved one. But the plaintiffs must show a substantially contemporaneous knowledge of the outrageous conduct in a severe emotional response. Only a bystander plaintiff who is closely related to a third person directly injured by a defendant's tortuous conduct and suffers emotional injuries as a result of witnessing the accident or coming upon the third person soon after the accident states a claim for which relief may be granted. The close proximity of time between the alleged harmful event and a plaintiff's claim for emotional distress must be near instantaneous. Here, Margaret, Paul, and John O'Keefe each alleged that sometime after the decedent was transported to the hospital, at least 7 hours after the alleged vehicle strike, based on the factual averments, they observed their adult son and brother's body in the hospital. There is no allegation that any plaintiff observed the alleged vehicle strike itself. Moreover, the plaintiff's claimed shock was not experienced immediately after the occurrence, but rather at least 7 hours later, removing it from the scope of requisite temporal proximity. The complaint contains no allegation that the plaintiff, Kaylee Furbush, directly observed it. So basically what they're saying is here that according to the, the law and case law or whatever, you can't claim emotional distress if you didn't witness it happen. I mean, that's what I'm taking from this. I'm not a law nerd, but I do watch Melanie's program from time to time, and that's my understanding of it. I'll leave this to her. This is really her. She's much better at this than me. So this isn't really my cup of tea. Is taking the just shitting on coneheads. That's what I'm good at, and calling people out for shitty behavior. That's really what I do. So that is what Melanie said. Okay, so that's see, I'm a lawyer now. There you go. I'm a law tuber. There we go. Okay, and then there's the opposition. Then the opposition is like 1 million pages long. The opposition's all about me. Let me see if I can pull this up. What's this one? The exhibits. The exhibits are just the original lawsuit that was filed. Okay. What about this one? No, I already read that one. What about this one? Commonwealth's response to inventory of a... Okay, no, that's my case. Lindsay Gattani's motion to compel redaction of cell phone extraction. No, that's my case. Definitely. What the hell did I do with their version? Did I get rid of it? They had like a 55-page opposition to the motion to dismiss. I know I have it in here somewhere. What's this one? Let me pull it up. I know I got it here somewhere. Yeah, they brought me into this. They're trying to make it all about me. Why is it always about Turtleboy? Leave me alone. I'm not relevant, goddammit. I thought I wasn't relevant. Stop making everything about Turtleboy. All right. Superior Court, Norfolk. No, Plymouth County. We got to go Plymouth County now. Read, Karen, search. There it is. Okay. Torts. Paul O'Keefe's individually and personal let me see this. This is it. Okay, I found it. All right, let's see what we got here with the motion to dismiss. The opposition to the motion to dismiss. Okay. Defendant Karen Reed inaccurately styled her motion as a motion to dismiss the plaintiff's complaint, when in reality it only seeks to dismiss several counts sounding in emotional distress, knowing that the media would pick up on the 9E filing. What? That's how they started off? Okay. Like what kind of claim is that? Who cares? Like, you're whining about the media already? Come on, Mark Diller. You're better than that. Maybe you're not. I don't know. Okay. The case focuses on the tragic wrongful death of a Boston police officer and the catastrophic losses to the deceased's close family friends left behind. Karen Reed, while drunk, struck John O'Keefe with her SUV and left him gravely injured to die outside alone. Don't think so. She exploited her as part of Reed's attempt to deflect and to frame a false narrative around JJ's death. The O'Keefe family has suffered and continues to suffer immense emotional trauma from this wrongful death, which has been further intensified by the unyielding barrage of harassment and ridicule by Reed. What from Reed and her supporters targeting the grieving family. Oh, boo hoo. Oh, poor Paul O'Keefe is trying to make glazed donuts with random whores and wherever, you know? Oh, yeah, Paul's right. Sure thing. Nobody's buying that anymore, pal. That bridge has sailed. Reed's campaign of disinformation designed to obfuscate the truth and to attack the O'Keefe family not only deprives them of justice, but also amplifies their grief and the loss of their beloved family member. No, your family member's not getting justice because of you. You guys are the reason he's not getting justice, because you dumb shit motherfuckers are bringing the McAlberts to court with you like idiots. You look retarded. They're laughing at you. You guys are a joke. If you were serious, you would be suing everybody, not just Karen Reed. You would be suing the McAlberts. Bro, he was found on the lawn. They drove by his body, allegedly. If the body was there, they drove by his body and no one did shit. Right? No one did shit. They invited him over there. And none of you guys did shit. The police didn't search the house. How are you not suing the fact that they're only suing Karen Reed just shows that this is just spite. That's all this is. They ain't gonna win shit. You know, you already lost once. Wasn't that enough for you? And I got to be honest, Paul, because I know you're watching, Paul. I have watched the video of Karen Reed being acquitted so many times. And my favorite part, my absolute favorite part is when you go like this. That's my favorite part. And that leprechaun mofo puts his arm on your shoulder and you just go. I love that part, Paul. I love that part. You deserve that. I'm sure that hurt. As it should. Because you said that you couldn't wait for me to go to jail and be away from my kids. You said that to me, you bald-headed motherfucker. You know you said that to me. You know you're my enemy. And you know I'm yours. And you want me to suffer. And I want you to suffer too. I enjoyed watching you suffer. I did, because you enjoyed watching me go to jail for something you know I didn't do. You evil motherfucker. I know you did. Right? And so I loved it, man. I loved, as much as I love Karen Reed being exonerated, I loved you going. I printed it out and put it on my fridge like Morrissey. I saw that. I go, print that out right now. Print that out. I want to make shirts of that, of you go. Yeah. Yeah, you lost, motherfucker. The last 3 years have been a waste of your fucking time. And it's your fault, Paul. You did that. That was fucking awesome. I loved it. As much as I loved seeing, because I couldn't see the trolls do that, but I could see you do it. And that was awesome. You wasted. You thought that they were going to deliver a conviction. You were certain of it. You know why you thought that? Because you're retarded. God, you're stupid. Anyway, back to this. Reed and her family went to great lengths to obtain orders from this court shielding them from convening discovery in this civil action. Yeah, it's called a Fifth Amendment right. She's on trial. Now that the state has been lifted and we're allowed to proceed, Reed asks this court to extinguish prematurely numerous legitimate claims, largely based on form over substance, before any discovery occurs. The only issue this court needs to resolve today is whether, assuming all factual allegations to be true and indulging every reasonable inference in plaintiff's favor, the complaint plausibly suggests the plaintiffs are entitled to relief for the infliction of emotional distress claims. The answer is yes. As we will be demonstrated here, there is no bright line test for the plaintiff's infliction of emotional distress claims. Each claim requires an independent, factual analysis on a case-by-case basis, which cannot be resolved at this stage of the lawsuit without adequate discovery. Whether the O'Keefe family suffered shock closely on the heels of her actions in JJ's death, and whether her subsequent conduct rises to the level of extreme outrageous are questions prematurely raised by the court. Case law, case law, case law. Okay. Reed, still inebriated, left JJ injured in front of 34 Fairview. Okay, this is all fantasy. She woke Kaylee. She did do that. Okay. She departed JJ's residence, leaving Kaylee frightened and traumatized and alone. Right. That's Karen Reed's fault. At or around 6 a.m., she returned to 34 Fairview and observed JJ on the ground, buried in the snow, where she had earlier left him to die. This whole complaint is just defamatory. The O'Keefe family came upon her body shortly after he was pronounced dead. Thereafter, Reed deliberately fabricated a conspiracy and launched a public campaign of disinformation designed to obfuscate the truth and deprive the family of justice. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay. Case law, case law, case law. Whenever I see the italics, I'm like, I know it's case law. Okay. What's the NIDE claim? Negligent infliction of emotional distress. All right. Case law. Boring. The complaint alleges sufficient grounds to hold her liable for negligent infliction of emotional distress. Defendant attempts to draw an arbitrary line between the approximate time that she collided with JJ in front of 34 Fairview, never happened, and the time the O'Keefe family observed his body. There is no requirement that the shock experienced by the O'Keefe family from the consequences of her negligence be immediate in a literal sense as suggested by the defendant. A plaintiff who rushes onto the accident scene and finds a loved one injured has no greater entitlement to compensation for that shock than a plaintiff who rushes instead to the hospital. Okay, case. This is just minutia about when. Okay, I find all this boring. While the collision with her car occurred sometime around 12:30, her wrongful death conduct and consequence thereof continued into the early morning hours. All right, sure thing. All right. Anything good here? The plaintiff's complaint viewed holistically suggests the O'Keefe family is entitled to relief for Reed's intentional reckless infliction of emotional distress, so plaintiffs should be afforded opportunity to conduct discovery. Bro, I bet you I'm going to get deposed in this shit. It's not going to, I can't wait too. Kaylee has emotional distress. If there was no collision, as Reed claims, and Reed simply left JJ unharmed at 34 Fairview and returned home, then why did Reed feel compelled to awaken young Kaylee in the middle of the night to tell her that her surrogate father was hit by a car or snowplow and was dead? Well, first of all, that's what Kaylee says happened. So that's testimony. That doesn't mean it's exactly how it went down. I'm not saying she's lying or whatever. She could be mistaken. She is recounting something that happened, whatever. But to answer his question here about why she would say that and was dead, because she was worried that he was dead. She was worried that something happened to him. And she was also, because she loved John, she's in a state of panic and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Hope that answers your question. In drawing all reasonable inferences from the blah, 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 case law, like all other claims which the defendant seeks to prematurely dismiss, the O'Keefe family's claims for distress cannot be viewed in a vacuum. It is more plausible by the cumulative effect of the factual allegations contained in the complaint and drawing all reasonable inferences in the plaintiff's favor for the totality of the circumstances, but not limited to the accused, blah, 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 blah. The core of the O'Keefe family's complaints alleged that Reed, knowing that she was responsible for her death, calculatedly and maliciously fabricated a conspiracy. In launch a public campaign of disinformation designed to obfuscate the truth and deprive them of justice. We already read that one. Let me read this footnote. Reed's alleged ongoing wrongful conduct in propagating her false narrative is also relevant to Kaylee's claim because it reflects a prolonged pattern of calculated conduct designed to obfuscate the truth. He loves that word. And polarize the public and pit Reed and her supporters against the O'Keefe family. Nah, not really. I mean, no one was against the O'Keefe family until they brought the McAlberts to court. Like, that's it. Anyway, first, there's no requirement that she intended her post-incident statements. Okay. Plaintiffs believe the discovery from Reed will substantiate and expand upon their claims of a false narrative. A public filing. Okay, here we go. So this is where it gets to Turtleboy. While plaintiffs believe the discovery will substantiate and expand upon their claims of a false narrative, a public filing, footnote, from Reed's criminal matter lends support to the plaintiff's allegations. According to the investigation of Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, following her arrest, she began using an old friend as an intermediary to covertly share information about defense theories in her criminal case with a now well-known blogger via an encrypted messaging app. So these people, first of all, this is why Natalie's such a piece of shit. This is all because, remember, Natalie did all of this because she was mad Karen didn't want to be her best friend. That's it. According to Tully, Reed began to secretly and selectively filter non-public information to the blogger for publication, including evidence, personal witness information, defense conspiracy theories, FBI involvement, and the impanelment of a grand jury. What's the footnote there? Reed also coordinated meetings between the blogger and her defense team, during which they discussed theories that other individuals were responsible for his death, despite her defense team claiming they never had any contact with the blogger. Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? What are these footnotes? Yeah, so the exhibits are they put into exhibit the entire affidavit that he used for Karen Reed's cell phones, alleging conspiracy between the two of us that went absolutely nowhere. They tried to indict us over it. It didn't work out. At various points in time, the blogger made public comments about influencing Reed's jury pool, arresting the people who killed John O'Keefe, and inferred during a rally that the O'Keefe's family period of grief had expired, and they were now fair game for trying to send an innocent woman to jail for the rest of her life. I said what I said, and it's all true. Fair game for criticism. Absolutely. What, Peggy O'Keefe can't be criticized? Oh, no. Yeah, right. Without repeating the relatively minimal threshold for overcoming a motion to dismiss, a reasonable jury could conclude that she knew or should have known that she would cause severe emotional distress. Okay, right. Media coverage regularly pitted the O'Keefes versus the Reeds. I wonder why that was. Maybe because there's video of Paul yelling, "Fuck you," at Nathan Reed as he came into court one day. A simple internet search will reveal some of the disturbing consequences of Reed's false narrative, including, but not limited to, public and online harassment of the O'Keefe family. That's not there's no harassment of the O'Keefe family. Crowds of Reed followers callously booing the grieving family. Now, we were booing Carl. It's just such a lie. And taunting the O'Keefes by dancing in front of their home on video following Reed's acquittal. That's not, he actually put that in the thing. That woman had nothing to do with Karen Reed. It's been proven. He actually said that. This fucking dolt lawyer actually put that. Hey, Dilla, I know you're watching this show right now. You suck too. Put that in a footnote. The O'Keefes also hired a bitch-ass attorney named Mark Diller, who's a fucking tool bag, and is giving them more false hope that they're actually going to win when they ain't getting shit. You're going to see this all over again from Paul O'Keefe. Get ready for that. Hank Brennan gave him this, and now you're going to give him this. That's you. The O'Keefe's hired a bitch-ass attorney who's bad at his job, a mediocre attorney. He's the only loser that would take this case. Put that in a fucking footnote. I know you're watching, Diller. Put that in a footnote. Okay. They request a hearing on this matter, and then they do exhibits. So the search warrant exhibit, they put the search warrant for Karen Reed's devices because he thinks that her phone was used to commit a crime. Krupp signs the order. Notice that? Krupp signed this thing. She has two phones they want to take. How'd they know what color the phones were? Huh. Any mobile device capable of communicating cell phones used by Karen Reed. Signed by Krupp. So he believes he has probable cause to believe the evidence in Karen Reed's phone exists that shows that she committed witness intimidation and conspiracy to commit witness intimidation. Right. Okay. And then he lists, this is all from my stuff now. They quote all my greatest hits, blah, blah, blah. Turtleboy bad. Like, what the fuck? Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe do not deserve to live a normal life. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What is, they got pictures of the rolling rally. Okay. There they got the rolling rally. Yeah. Okay. I mean, what is the Natalie? Talking about Natalie? Oh, this is so stupid. I mean, this went nowhere. And who cares if I said that I don't talk to Karen Reed's attorneys? Like, that's not a crime. It's not a crime to not reveal your sources to your YouTube audience. I don't think that's a felony. In December, I communicated and interviewed a witness relative to ongoing conspiracy to commit witness intimidation charges. Oh, this is Lindsay Gattani. I interviewed her. Given widespread media attention, this witness will be referred to by the pseudonym Jane. I want to be very clear to everybody. Jane is Lindsay Gattani. She is a liar. She is a fake victim. She pretended to be pregnant. She pretended to abort my fake baby Clay multiple times. That poor baby was fake aborted multiple times. She even threatened to do it in my real driveway. Okay. Her name's not Jane. Her name is Lindsay, Lindsey Gaetani, Gaetani. She is a fake victim, a whore, a side piece, and a murderer of Clay, of sweet baby Clay. Prayers up for Clay. Okay. Anyway, so then there's all her lies. We've been over all this already. Okay. She like basically stalked Karen Reed, found out she was in Florida, blah, blah, blah. Got her when she came back. Okay. Anyway, so that's dumb. Anyway, you guys get the point there. It is what it is. So that's the update on that. All right, let me read some turtle chats here. All right. What's the last one I read? Okay, Kate sends $5 and goes, I now tell my kids I'm making a meal of food every evening when they ask me what's for dinner. Cracks me up. Yeah, there you go. Isn't that the worst? You probably call your garage a Sally Port too. Daddy's ACS O'Neill sends $25, goes, I love hearing you talk about the socks. It makes me moist. Free turtle daddy. Yikes. Yikes. I didn't know talking about the socks could do that. But again, that's a real turtle chat. I swear to God, I didn't write that word. I read the cards that are sent to me. That's it. Next. Christine sends $10 and has no comment. Thank you, Christine. Kitty Catnaps sends $25 and goes, please don't tell Joel you fucked his mom. Cheering you on tomorrow. I'm not going to tell Joel that because I love Carm. I got way too much respect for Carm to compare. I mean, Carm and I could probably relate with parenting stories, you know, probably can relate. My biggest goal is like, how do I prevent my son from growing up to be like yours? You know, and she'll probably be like, I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one, Turtle Boy. Next one. Carrie sends $25, goes, my husband proposed during the Charleston, South Carolina bridge run 10K. He dropped to his knee a half mile from the finish line and still at his best time. So I loved your story. I knew you were my kind of people. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that so nice? Yeah. I was fucking dead. I would definitely do that differently. This time around, well, first I just wouldn't get married, but anyway, I don't regret it though. It's like, people say that about getting married. They're like, oh, but I got two amazing kids out of it. No matter what happens, you get like, yeah, it didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be, but we both got two amazing kids out of it. And so would I do it again? I don't know. That's an interesting theoretical question to ask people who are divorced with kids. Is like, would you do it again? It's like, because if you say no, then you don't have your kids. So you're saying you don't want your kids? That's it's a tough, you can never really answer that question because you never would have met your kids if you didn't get married. You never would have met your kids. So, it didn't work out, but it was a pretty cool thing. Two kids came out of it, Anyway, back to this. Doreen sends $400. Thanks, Doreen. Oh, it's this turtle kidnapping thing they're doing. The North Shore people are doing. Did I see the warrants? What warrants? Who's got a warrant? Anyway, goes on. Let's see. So it says, So Turtle Tiny was returned by the Turtle Napper last night, and North Shore Nacho collected $400 to support you. I'm wishing you well tomorrow. I love North Shore Nachos, and I really want to make it up there for an evening of nachos. But yeah, so thank you very much for that one, Doreen. I appreciate that very much. Christine sends $10, goes, I love how you and Will, Mike Melody, Microdots all support each other. There is one YouTube EDB who will cancel your chat if you mention another person's channel. Stand proud and together. Emily Baker does that? Her chat's way too big to even keep up with that. But you know, I like Emily Baker. She's fine. She's interesting. She's knowledgeable. She's got a big following. So I have no beef with her at all. But she's just, you know, she's very different. She's a law tuber. You know, she covers the legal aspects of it. There you go. Okay, next up. OG Danielle Baker sends $50 and goes, hey, Doc, I sent you an email the other night about Ratchet Madness. Let me know if you didn't get it. Sending positive vibes for tomorrow. I think you're going to be fine. I will see you at the Wilbur. Thank you, Danielle Baker. I will check that out shortly. Dr. CW sends $10 and goes, how do we vote for Ratchet Madness? Do not shame me. Well, you just go to, I'll show you right now. So you go to tvdailynews.com, my website. You click on the most recent article, Ratchet Madness Round 1, Irish Poverty Face. You scroll through it and you vote. Jennifer McCabe or Ken Berkowitz. I'm going to vote for Berkey because no one is voting for him. So there we go. Jim Farris or Liz Proctor. Okay, you go through and you do it just like that. Going to vote for my girl Jill. All right. I voted for Joe Paul. I had to vote for Colin, even though I hate Cosgrove. Had to vote. Dude, Twisted Tragedy doesn't win. We riot. I voted for Plevin in this one. And I voted for, of course, Meatball. Okay? So that's how you vote for Ratchet Madness. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, cool. Next up. Let's see. Jen C sends $10 and goes, Daddy, justice for Micah. JP Miller is responsible for her death and needs to be held accountable. Joel Waldenberg is corny as fuck. I don't think that's his name. He gives me secondhand embarrassment. JP is also responsible for Chris Skinner's death. Just saying, kisses. Yeah, everybody's been saying that. I need to look into that. Thank you, Jen. Tristan's Lost Watch sends $25 and goes, word on the street is that D&E Pizza will be launching a new ad campaign. It's called #TrustTheCrust. I bet it'll hit with Lardass Meatball Morrissey. Good luck tomorrow and free Turtleboy. Well, thank you, Tristan's Lost Watch. I appreciate that. Vicky sends $10, goes, good luck tomorrow. I hope something or anything is accomplished. Will Sundown or Cosgrove answer for the blank discovery? We'll see. Supposedly we just got 4,200 pages, which I need to stay up late and read. Stephanie Scholing sends $10, goes, just do it, Turtleboy. I promise you will not be disappointed. Joel is Colby from Survivor. I'll have to read that. Check that out later. She sent me a YouTube link. Thank you, Stephanie. Jody sends $10, goes, I can prove that the fix was in the moment that Brian Albert chose to stay inside. It can be verified by a quick Google search. I have emailed you my details. Okay, thank you. Romy sends $50, goes, do you think Morrissey went ahead and ate that Domino's pizza that he didn't order? Probably. He probably did. That's one thing I would do differently is when I got that order, I would have just ate it, paid him, ate it, just show him, hey, this shit don't bother me. Thanks for the pizza. Amy sends $10, goes, I flew in to be in court tomorrow. What time do I need to arrive to make sure I get a seat inside? Whew, you flew in for that. For little old me, Amy. Thanks for all you do. Earlier the better. I will get there at 1, but I think court might start at 3. Again, I'm sorry that I don't have like more definitive answers. I feel so bad because you flew all the way here. But earlier the better, because last time not everyone got in. Kimberly sends $10, goes, Bukkake gives me Zelensky vibes. Okay, yeah, a little bit. Rosaline sends $10, goes, did you see Tully's affidavit attached to O'Keefe's response to dismissal? He is discussing the search warrant for phones to prove a Turtleboy Kearney conspiracy. That's like a way old affidavit that we've been over, though. Yes. No, supposedly no one's seen it before. Oh, Rosaline, I've done articles on it. I've done shows on it. I've been over that affidavit many times. Thank you. Aaron sends $100, goes, listen, Turtle, Deaver demanded that I donate this to your defense fund. I must comply or rue the day, or she may insist it was a false memory. From Canada, hashtag Deaver for top Ratchet. Well, thank you, Aaron. That is too kind of you and very creative. Funny person, Aaron. Heidi sends $50 and goes, you have to watch Loophole Lawyer's latest. Yes. On his Noble interview, you need to connect, even though Cosgrove thinks you are the same person. Bro, the Loophole Lawyer, where's he been my whole life? I love that guy. He did an awesome one on Joel today, and it was so funny. If Joel doesn't rip Loophole Lawyer, he is the biggest fraud, because he kept referring to him as his like Jewish mother. Like, it was fucking funny though. It's good. I don't know if it's anti-Semitic. I laughed at that. I thought it was funny, but something tells me he won't. Joel just came after me because he knows there's a lot of people who don't like me. And so he's like, if I shit on Turtleboy, all the antis will fucking tell me how awesome I am. That's what he did it for. And they did. They fell right. They gave him exactly what he wanted. Okay. Anything else here? Naomi sends $10 and says, I wish I could be there to support you tomorrow, but I work. Get them in Dedham. A lot of people work, but, you know, it's not a shot at people who do go, you know, but I appreciate that. Lori sends $15, goes, respect and support you, present and future. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. I appreciate that. Okay, cool. Well, I guess that's it for Donos, I guess. Loophole Lawyer is hilarious. Like, I'll show you just a couple minutes of his thing because it was funny. Let's just watch it together for a couple minutes. Oh God, sir. Joel's coming up my feed. Okay. He's just so serious. Like, he takes himself so seriously. And you know what I've been listening to a lot too? I've been going down the Macenzie Shirilla rabbit hole. You guys know who she is? Oh, she's such a ratchet ass hoe. She's this chick who she was 17 at the time, a child, like Colin Albert, and she was mad. She got into a car accident and killed her boyfriend. Was in the front seat, Dom, and then Davian, this kid's name in the back seat that they were given a ride home to, he also died. And they were going 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour. And for like 4 months, she wasn't arrested because she lived. And that's crazy. She turned her car into like a missile and crashed into a fucking building. And it was clearly intentional. Like the EDR data, all the shit showing, it's like undeniable that shit was intentional. They got it on video. It's like, it's scary how fast that car was going, the terror they must have been feeling. But the only thing I was thinking was, how did she know she was going to live? That's my only question. It's like, how did she know she was going to live? Anyway, she had they got video of her going there like 7 other times, like scouting it out. Like she knew exactly what she was going to do. And she is but now they're getting so she went to trial, got convicted in 2023. And now they're playing all her jail calls. Somebody FOIA'd all her jail calls. There's a whole channel dedicated to this. And she is so ghetto. I listen to it all the time. I was going to listen to Melanie's stream today and listen to her go over court filings. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to listen to some Macenzie Shirilla jail calls because I find that shit so entertaining. I just listening to her talk afterwards to her mom. Her mom is so bad too. Her mom is the problem. Her mom is it's just like they call the victim's family evil. Like she was the only one wearing a seatbelt, but how you can't know you're going to survive going 100 miles an hour, crashing into a brick wall. Like it's crazy. She calls the family evil liars. Like, so anyway, been listening to a lot of that. Been listening to a lot of that. And then this douchebag comes up. Oh, he's so serious. Look at him.
Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. This is the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime. I'm your host, Joel Waldman, and this is an STS special. Before we start,
he takes himself so seriously.
Just make sure to smash the like and subscribe button.
Buy the book.
Let's get into this episode.
Ooh, yeah.
We're focusing on.
So had I actually.
Yeah, I need to talk about the Adelsons too. So anyway, so that's. But I went there to talk about Loophole Lawyer. Now let's go to Loophole Lawyer. Where'd he go? Macenzie Shirilla, disturbing jail calls. Okay. I can't see it feeds you. Once you click one, it just keeps showing up in the algorithm. Dude, she's so ratchet. I'm telling you. Once you go down the Macenzie Shirilla rabbit hole,
is the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe.
You can't, you're gonna get stuck. I'm telling you.
Do this video
and saying that is the things that I've said on my program, calling Peggy O'Keefe the C word.
So don't spell it. These are your words, Trooper Proctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Cunt.
And saying that is the same thing as his grandfather being murdered in the Holocaust is insane. Imagine thinking you're this important with your whole tough guy thing. Imagine thinking that.
You know what? I didn't think that you could sink lower than calling the poor mother of a murdered Boston police officer the C word.
C-U-N-T.
I called Peggy O'Keefe, who was a cunt to me, exactly what she is. I don't like Peggy O'Keefe, so I'm a bad person. Oh, no. Okay, there you go.
Wanted to break this. This is something I just heard from a very good source.
Ooh, I love breaking news. Let's hear it.
Donna was offered a plea deal of time served if she gave up Wendy.
Whoa.
And she turned it down.
Totally unfounded and untrue.
Whoa.
No such plea offer has been extended.
Do you expect this rumor to have any impact on that jury selection?
Well, that's my concern, and that's why the ethical rules allow pretrial publicity for corrections of things like this, and that's why I so quickly wanted to come out and correct it.
You heard from some sources that a plea deal or something was floated out there that if Donna Adelson was willing to flip and testify against Wendy Adelson, that she would be given time served and be able to go home and her case would be over.
Whoa.
And they would be building that case against Wendy Adelson. Is that right?
Well, it's pretty funny. It was like an innocuous question.
Innocuous question. It turns out this handsome devil here went on that show, Surviving the Neurotic Jewish Mom, and disclosed the fact that Donna turned down a plea deal, which would have given her time served. Basically, she gets out of jail for free if she flipped on Wendy. Let's see what happened.
We're doing it with Joel and Julia from Court TV. They asked Julia, do you think they'd ever give a plea offer to Donna to get Wendy? And, I had this information for like a week or two. This is something I just heard from a very good source. I had this information for like a week or two. Something I just heard. It didn't mean that much to me. So I said, well, yeah, I heard from a good source that she was offered time served to go against Wendy.
Whoa.
Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I wasn't a recipient of it, but I know the source is a very good source.
Did you hear that there? He didn't know if it was true or not. And it's critical in journalism that you verify whatever your source tells you. So what I want to hear from this little handsome devil is, I made a mistake. In the future, I will verify my source before I make any disclosures. Let's see if we hear that.
And I just thought I'd add that in there because it really wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility of a plea offer.
Of course, a plea offer is within the realm of possibilities, but that doesn't give you the right to go ahead and disclose that one actually exists just because it's plausible.
Lawyers give plea offers all the time. Some are formal, some are in writing, some are just, hey, you think your client wants to cooperate? One of the biggest cases, and it's now on Hulu now, is Mr. and Mrs. It was Brian Winchester, and he was arrested for kidnapping his ex-wife.
Listen to this guy. The question simply was, what was the deal with the plea offer? And now he's giving us some rambling answer, and now he seems to be citing another case.
Denise Winchester. And so every case I get a plea offer.
Best guests. Hashtag best guests. Except sometimes my best guests just pull shit out of their ass, spread rumors, pass them off as facts, and it prompts the prosecutor's office to make an unprecedented statement that is completely full of shit because it got so much attention. Hashtag best guests.
Some are terrible, some are good. But the prosecutor's like, no plea offer in this case. I'm like, it's a attempted kidnapping. She's not hurt. He goes, well, I said, well, I don't know. I was in Tampa. Apparently it was a 19-year-old mystery about what happened to Mike Williams. He goes, well, maybe you ask your client. Maybe he has.
My God, can this guy ramble? What I'm hearing is a lot of deflection, but not enough acknowledgement of the fact that he made a disclosure without verifying it, which is the #1 rule in journalism.
Maybe we'll cut a deal. Now, is that a plea offer? Is that an offer? Technically, yes, it is. It's not firm. It's not in writing. That's how things get started. The state wants something. Your client may have something. You reach in between, Kind of like buying a car, right? They want to buy it, sell it high. You want to buy it low. So you end up meeting in the middle. Well, as a federal prosecutor, why do the federal prosecutors have a 98% conviction rate?
They don't simply say something based upon an anonymous source without verifying it. The federal government will allow you to continue to commit the crime to make sure that they have an airtight case before they disclose it. And there's a huge problem with this guy. This good-looking Greek attorney is giving him the opportunity to explain how he made such a huge mistake. And all we're hearing is excuses. And the answer is still going. It's now about 2 minutes in.
Because the penalties are so harsh. They take cases they can win. And they get a lot of co-defendants to flip and come in to reduce their sentence. The state attorney does it also, but not as vigorous.
This is AI, isn't it? Holy shit.
But you get a shooter, like in this case, Dan Markel, the professor. They cut a deal with Luis Rivera. Okay, Luis was a Latin king. He had come up here twice to try to kill Dan. He was present. He was the driver. He helped get away
What does any of this have to do with your huge mistake in disclosing something that wasn't true?
car. They gave him a deal. And you think, why would they give that guy a deal? He's one of the most culpable. But they needed him to get to Sigfredo, right? And then they cut a deal to get Katie. But Katie, for some reason, turned down the alleged offer of immunity twice, went to trial, and then perjured herself the second time. And lo and behold,
you can't blame that good-looking Malaka for falling asleep. The problem is we're listening to a rambling answer with absolutely no admission that this big dope made a huge error.
guess what happens? Charlie gets arrested, and the state calls Katie McBonneau. He's got no credibility whatsoever. I was shocked when they called her. But, okay, so how is Katie going to get out of her life sentence? It's not like they can say, we're going to file to reduce your sentence. They're going to have to set aside that conviction. And there's probably no deal on the table because she would have to disclose that to the defense. So it's like, no, I don't have a deal. But there's probably...
Remember the question, which was about 4 minutes ago, relates to why he said that Dono had a plea offer.
An understanding. Are there some inference? Are there some possibility, right? Because I don't think Katie would do it out of the goodness of her heart when she's serving a life sentence. You know, deals are deals. Sometimes they're written, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, that's what Katie said. That's why she was doing it. But
textbook deflection by the attorney. I don't know who he is, but he should acknowledge the fact that he made a representation without verifying his source. And that is critical if you want to be a bona fide journalist like we are here.
The other day, he had a guy on his show who claims that Donna Adelson was offered a plea deal where she could turn on her daughter, Wendy, and get out of jail.
Whoa.
That claim was immediately debunked.
And here's Turtleboy, a real journalist who's referring to that guy, Joel, who hosts the show Surviving an Erotic Jewish Mom, allowing this other person to make that disclosure without pushing back and making sure that he verified his source before making that representation.
By both the prosecution and the defense, I believe. He just made it up. Unfortunately, that fake news, and that's what it was fake news, was platformed by Vinny Politan on Court TV.
Hey, Vinny, make sure you check out your sources.
He cited and quoted it because they treat this guy like he's some sort of legitimate source of news. He's not. He's a guy with a YouTube channel.
Turtleboy's referring to the mama's boy, Joel, who hosts the show Surviving the Neurotic Jewish Mother.
Who grifts off of his mother. That's all he is. That's all he ever was. He has no background in law enforcement or law, and he tries to get what he thinks is high-profile people on his show in order to grift off of them. He even says it. Hashtag best guests. Not hashtag Joel's the best. She's not fake. She's real. To be perfectly clear, his mother's story is not made up. I believe his mother's story to be true. I have no other reason to believe otherwise. I believe his mother's story to be...
Joel's mother apparently has a compelling story about how she had to hide out as a child during World War II to avoid the Nazis.
Factually true. What I don't like is how Joel uses his mother's story. It makes you think that, like, when I hear Holocaust survivor, the first thing I think of is somebody who survived a concentration camp. That's what he wants to get in your head, and that is not what happens. This is the most cringe thing I have ever seen.
This past week, my mother, Carmela Waldman, who we affectionately call...
That is the rich kid, mama's boy, Joel, who hosts that show, Surviving the Neurotic Jewish Mother.
On Surviving the Survivor, turned 86 years young. And for the first time ever, she was attacked, not physically, but verbally, by a blogger who accused her of being a fake Holocaust survivor.
She survived bombings in World War II as a child. This is not the first time she's being attacked. However, what you're witnessing is a narcissistic mother who has a son who's dealing with extreme anxiety his entire life. He's the Fredo of the family. The other siblings were super successful. He wasn't. And he has that anxiety, and you can see it in his show. There's no reason to bring your mommy on a show.
Attacked her. Listen to this guy. No, Joel. I love this guy.
What did the blogger do? He got in front of his little green screen, flipped on his camera, flipped on his microphone, and huffed and puffed like a little petulant child and went after an 86-year-old woman who, like 99.9% of the world, have absolutely no idea who he is and frankly don't really care. Because as the son of a Holocaust survivor, it is incumbent upon me.
Joel went on a luxury vacation to Paris with his wife and kids. Then eventually they meet up with his mother in Budapest. And this is the picture he posts. Budapest is beautiful. I wonder why he didn't post the real pictures from his trip, which his wife posted on her Instagram account.
Oh, interesting.
A little bit about my mom. She's a licensed therapist, and she most certainly is a child Holocaust survivor. There's nothing fake about her story. And most recently, her husband of 63 years, who happened to be my father, it was an unbelievable love story.
Okay.
And when you're a narcissist of epic proportions,
look at him reading.
Easy to delude yourself.
Like Charlie Adelson, Joel is the son of an overbearing Jewish mother. What these guys do is live to please their mother. An adult male should not be defending his mommy on the internet, especially when Turtleboy never attacked her at all. But he just can't help himself. And I guarantee you, his mommy wrote this.
That you're somebody you're not.
He wrote this whole thing out. He thought, like, this will roast him.
And now the blogger's 15 minutes of fame have ticked away. And it's got to be so frightening and frustrating for him.
All criticism is self-criticism. Remember that. All criticism is self-criticism. That means every time you criticize someone, you're really saying it about yourself. And of course, Joel knows his 15 minutes of fame is up.
A history teacher.
Yeah,
the students, sadly, were no doubt cheated out of what should have been a very valuable education.
I was a great teacher, Joel. Ask any of my students, thousands of them that I had in my class that came. Oh my God.
And only one kind of person does that.
Oh my God.
An absolute coward.
Picked a fight with an 86-year-old woman.
Oh my God. What a mama's boy.
Now you're a big tough guy. Look at his face. Look at his face. I'm going to stand up to you, but not by like debating you or confronting you in person. I'm going to go on my YouTube and I'm going to make an angry hostage video and act like a tough guy. I'm so tough. I'm standing up for you. You're picking on the elderly. I'm so tough. Look at me. I'm Joel. Buy my book.
In his little living room studio. Here's more truth. Carm was more of a woman at age 4.5 than you'll ever be as a man at 40, 50, 60, 70, however long you live.
Okay.
How telling is this? But it's the same exact reason Charlie Boy executed Wendy's ex-husband. It's not because Charlie hated Dan Markel. He couldn't care less about Dan Markel. But what they care about is pleasing the narcissistic Jewish mother. And that's what we have here. And it's embarrassing. And I hope this guy Joel somehow understands that you shouldn't be worrying about what your mommy is doing. Turtleboy didn't attack your mommy at all. But because he's afraid of the family, he feels compelled to do this.
I didn't even go that far. I didn't say that he's attacking his narcissistic Jewish, is surviving the Jewish mother, the neurotic Jewish mother. I'm sorry, that's funny. I didn't say it. He said it. It's funny though. I got it. This guy is funny. I just found him recently. He's a funny fucker.
And this is all for his mother's love. Turtleboy, I know you may think he's attacking you. He's not. He's doing this for one reason, and the same reason Charlie Boy committed that murder, to get his Jewish mom's love.
At 4.5 years old, my fake survivor mom, your words, not mine, who happens, by the way, to speak 6 languages fluently.
If you're going to broadcast in English, make that your focal point, not any of these other dopey languages. Speak English properly if you want to be in this broadcast business.
At 4.5 years old, she was alone. A righteous Gentile, a person who wants to help, not hurt, out of the goodness of their heart.
A Gentile is a term Jews use for non-Jews. It's offensive on some level because you're classifying everyone else that isn't a Jew as somebody different.
A foreign concept probably for you. What? But that person, that righteous Gentile, a man named Dr. Ivo Scherzer, he brought my mom to a Catholic school for boys.
Okay.
Her mother left her there because she had to for any chance of survival. Yes. And my mom screamed at her, she tells me, and I quote here, a mother who loves her child would never leave her alone with strangers. But that's exactly what my grandmother did because she had to do that. Inside the Catholic school, my mom learned her prayers, including the Our Father and Hail Mary. Okay. His nun, Matilda Gorachanish, helped protect her. That nun had real love and purpose in her heart, and my mother had real love for her.
Again, this is all a great story.
I agree. I love the story. And Turtleboy, you were not raised by a neurotic Jewish mother. So I'm asking you to forgive Joel here and understand that his environment and the way he grew up was completely different than yours. Think about it. As an adult, he feels compelled to do this video. And I'm sure he's probably going to attack you even further. But all of it is done to show his mommy that he loves her. And that's the sad thing.
I like this story. For somehow he doesn't have his mom's story memorized, which I find interesting.
I do too.
I grew up in a Jewish home with a picture of that nun hanging in our living room, thinking that was perfectly normal for a Jewish kid. And my mom, I found out later on, donated to her in the church until she died late in her 90s. After 8.5 months faking it, as the blogger says, inside that Catholic school for boys, my mother was finally reunited with her mother, my grandmother, in Budapest. My mom had no choice but to eat slabs of horse meat that people would run out to the streets and carve off from the injured animals.
By the way, sounds delicious. She ate a horse. I ate a cow. I ate a pig.
All the attention in the world is never going to satiate his empty soul.
Oh, empty. So empty.
Most dangerous thing that you've ever had to escape.
Rule number 1 in public speaking, Joel, do not read. Notice how your eyes keep going down. You lose the focus of your audience when you're reading.
Or your thoughts, which in your case, maybe just as scary as my mom's real experience during the Holocaust. You have to hear the truth when you're all alone. That you're not that smart, not a real journalist.
I'm smarter than you.
But rather a sad, scared, inadequate little blogger.
Remember, all criticism is self-criticism, and Joel's really saying that about himself. And again, I asked Turtleboy to have empathy with Joel. He didn't grow up with a neurotic Jewish mother. And if you get to Joel, you will find out all those stories, all the anxiety Joel goes through throughout the day because of how he was raised.
Bro, what did you go through that was tough, Joel? Like, what's your story? Why don't you ever talk about your story?
Actually, Joel grew up in a very rich town in New Jersey.
Growing up, Joel, can we hear about that? Did you survive tough times? Did you? We know your mom did. We got that.
I was able to track down Joel's childhood friend Yitzhak, and he did tell me that the family did go through some hard times. The maid apparently only came 2 times a week and didn't live in the house.
What about you?
You know what? I didn't think that you could sink lower than calling the poor mother of a murdered Boston police officer the C word.
C-U-N-T.
I called Peggy O'Keefe, who was a cunt to me, exactly what she is. I don't like Peggy O'Keefe, so I'm a bad person. Oh, no. Okay, there you go.
And I promised myself I'd never remain silent again in the face of a Jew hater, no matter how small he is. Being quiet is not an option. It's about 1.5 million children who died in the Holocaust because of people with similar mindsets to you. A very real fact.
Because of similar mindsets to you. This guy is the biggest piece of shit ever.
It's about the roughly 260,000 remaining Holocaust survivors still alive around the world. I would never let all of them down by staying silent.
Oh, yeah.
You're not interesting.
They're all counting on you. Letting them, like all these Holocaust survivors in the world are like, thank God for Joel. Thank God I'm this important. Imagine thinking you're this important with your whole tough guy thing. Imagine thinking that. Imagine that. Thinking that you're this important, that you can come on here and act like you are the voice for Holocaust survivors everywhere.
A number of supporters have reached out over the last couple of days in alarmingly large numbers to tell me the exact same thing.
Ooh, okay. Oh,
by the way,
people reached out.
During my mom's quote-unquote fake Holocaust experience, her own real father, my grandfather, was grabbed by the Nazis by the shirt collar, pulled out his front door, and sent in a cattle car to Auschwitz.
To equate the things that I've said on my program, calling Peggy O'Keefe the C word.
So don't spell it. These are your words, Trooper Proctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Cunt.
And saying that is the same thing as his grandfather being murdered in the Holocaust is insane.
So when I took my wife and my kids and my mother back to Serbia, back to her hometown of Subotica 2 summers ago, so they could learn about the history that you robbed your...
Nothing worse than taking your mother-in-law on vacation with you. And Yitzhak did tell me that most of the time they were away from her. They were in Paris doing their own thing. And they had an amazing time in a luxury hotel in Budapest.
The only thing that was left of my grandfather is his name on his father's tombstone. My kids laid stones on it as a Jewish tradition. That's our reality.
Our reality? No. That's your mother's reality. That's your grandfather's reality. It's not your reality. Your reality is you were born and raised in the United States and you make money off of super chats. That's your reality, Joel. You didn't survive the Holocaust. You act like you did. You did not survive the Holocaust. You went through nothing. You have survived no hardships.
That is not true. The maid only came 2 times a week at Joel's luxury estate while he was growing up. However, I'm going to implore you, Turtleboy, to understand that he has an overbearing mother for which he needs to still please. This has nothing to do with you. But I will warn you, Turtleboy, because I've seen this before. Expect him to attack every aspect of your life because he is now exposed as just another thin-skinned YouTuber that should have never put himself on here because he can't deal with the criticism.
Yes.
And I have the freedom to say this because not only am I 1/17th African, my Jamaican mother was a survivor of the Holocaust too. And like Charlie Boy, Joel learned the hard way. You don't mess with Carm and you don't fuck with Donna Sue Adelson.
boring guest. Okay, so that's entertaining. I don't know how that guy's a riot. I don't even know who that guy is. He's a riot. But anyway, guys, it's been real. It's getting a little late. I got court tomorrow. So I love all you fine people. Thank you for all the donos tonight and the love and the support. And I look forward to seeing a lot of you guys there tomorrow. And Carm, I love you. Call me, get you on the show. It's going to be dope. All right. Peace to your bum grease, Turtle Riders.
It calls for